Welcome, my adventurous friend. Don't tell my sister, but there are ghosts in Blackmoor Manor. 13 of them to be exact. The problem is they're very shy, so they only come out when it's very late at night, usually just after midnight, and even then they only show up in quiet places, like the Great Hall, and the hallways and the conservatory. What's worse, they'll only come out for a very short period of time. But if you can find and touch all 13 ghosts in the time you're allotted, come back here, and I'll give you a prize, one which I guarantee you'll enjoy. So who's ready to go on a ghost hunt? Remember, you mustn't waste any time. Our little chums won't stay visible for long. So, on your mark, get set, go! Oh dear, my watch tells me that the ghosts are not likely to show up right now. Come back between midnight and 4 a.m. Farewell till then. Sorry, time's up. Looks like you weren't quite fast enough for our bashful little friends. Better luck next time. Farewell till then. Congratulations, you're one of the few people who have seen the 13 ghosts of Blackmoor Manor. As a reward, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. But a word to the wise, if you're wearing a hat, hang on to it. Have fun.
No! No! No!
Dear Ned, well, there is a beast of Blackmoor. Jane. She made poor Linda think she was turning into a monster by putting her uncle's hair restorer in Linda's moisturizer. She also slipped Mrs. Drake's allergy pills into Linda's food so she'd feel woozy all the time. An extremely dangerous thing to do. Needless to say, Jane's father was very upset, especially when he found out Jane had done it because she still wants him and her real mother to get back together. After Jane apologized to Linda, and Hugh apologized to both of them, they all resolved to do whatever it takes to become a real family. As for Blackmoor Manor, ever since I told him about all the passageways and gadgetry I discovered, Hugh has become fascinated with his family history, and has ordered Ethel to teach him what she's taught Jane. And while he doesn't believe for a second that the meteorite in that old alchemy lab has magical powers, he has encouraged Jane to come up with a puzzle to help ensure its safekeeping, just as initiates have been doing for centuries. Which reminds me, the Pendlins swore me to secrecy when it comes to all their traditions, so don't tell anybody any of this, okay? Nigel suspected something was up when he came to get his laptop and has been hounding me ever since. This is just the kind of stuff he'd love to include in that unauthorized tell-all he's trying to write. If he calls me one more time, I'm telling on him. To Mrs. Drake. That'll teach him. Ever yours, Nancy.
Troie qui primus ab oris Italiam, facto profugis, Laviniaeque venet litora, multum ille et terris jactatus et alto isoterum saevae memoram ionis ob iram, multa quoque et bello Arma virum quae cano, Troie qui primus ab oris Italiam, facto profugis, Laviniaeque venet litora, multum ille et terris jactatus et alto isoterum saevae memoram ionis ob iram, multa quoque et bello.
How about we just shake this stuff off and go to the mall?
I see you did not heed my warning. I realize you're a very curious young woman, but know this. These passageways can only lead to misfortune for the uninitiated, and I am not only speaking of physical peril. Nancy, I know you're a good person and mean well, and I understand you feel compelled to discover what is happening to Linda. But I also have certain duties which may conflict with yours. I will not interfere as long as I am prohibited from doing so, but know that the instant I receive the word, you will no longer be welcomed in Blackmoor. Good day. I believe young people need to have a well-rounded education and learn what every other Penvillin should know. Yes, the silent book. It's quite fascinating and very old. Jane's grandfather left it with me to give to her. Yes, but a long-lost story whose meaning will probably never be understood. No, I don't. But he regarded it as an heirloom and insisted that it belonged to Jane, and to Jane only. Of course, everyone who grows up in these parts knows it, but it's just a myth, one that unfortunately proved to be quite damaging to the Penvillins. Only that they were a very well-respected and talented family. Many of my ancestors were tutors of some of the Penvillins, and I feel very honored to continue that tradition. Well, yes. Eleanor Penvillin was executed because the villagers believed that she had created the beast. Things cannot get much more damaging than that. Goodbye, Nancy. Oh, you startled me. You must be Nancy. I'm Jane's tutor, Ethel. Jane is very excited you're visiting. You're all she's talked about for the past week. Yes, well. I'm sorry, but I'm in a bit of a rush. I need to go over some things with Jane. It was a pleasure meeting you, Nancy. Our paths will cross again, I'm sure. You gave me such a fright! What were you doing in there? So I suspected. These old homes usually have a secret passageway or two. But I must insist that you no longer play in these areas. They can be extremely dangerous. Well, we wouldn't want you to end up like the proverbial cat, would we, Nancy? Please heed my warning. It would be terrible if something happened to you. Oh, I see. Well, no, not at all. At least, not the treasure you're probably thinking of. The Penvillins have lived here for centuries. The house resonates with their presence. Any hidden treasure in Blackmoor would be found in the family's history, in the Penvillins' passions and deeds. I didn't realize you were so interested in the treasures of Blackmoor. I beg your pardon for the disturbance. I'll be on my way then. You did very well. But remember, this must remain a secret. Do not discuss it with anyone. And don't forget, you have a maths exam tomorrow. And be sure to brush your teeth.
We're in lessons right now. Come back later, please. I'm afraid we're busy. This is not a good time.
This is Paliki Badas. I don't do messages. Call me back. This is Paliki.
Hi, my name is Nancy Drew. Could I ask you some questions about lycanthropy?
I'm sorry, I'm about to leave for a seminar and I'm very busy. Besides, I've written 2 books and 12 articles on the subject. If you have questions, perhaps you should try reading one of them. This is Paliki.
Hi, this is Nancy Drew. I have another question. You know, about lycanthropy?
I'm listening. This is Paliki.
This is Nancy Drew, again.
What is it now? This is Paliki Badas. I'm currently attending the Transylvanian Symposium on Metamorphic Phenomena. I'll be back on the 10th. Call me then. Can you hold on for a minute? Back! Get back! Bella, can you get him back in his cage? No, the wolfbane isn't working either. I'm sorry, one of my patients has escaped. Can you call me back later? Thanks. Well, if you didn't understand something, I'm afraid I really don't have time to explain it to you. Your attempt to win me over with flattery is as transparent as it is feeble. But it worked. What do you want to know?
I understood everything. It's just that I know someone who seems to be exhibiting some of the symptoms of lycanthropic
metamorphosis? Well, that's different. Talk to me. Symptoms are relatively subtle. Dry mouth, fatigue, impaired vision, and reduced blood flow to the skin. Is this person pale? Maybe. Is this person pale or not?
I don't know. She won't let anyone see her. She just lies in bed all day behind this curtain.
And at night, what does she do at night? This sounds very promising.
You don't really believe she's turning into some kind of creature, do you?
Young lady, I believe the human mind is capable of far more than we can ever imagine. Pale skin, dry mouth, fatigue. The human mind is perfectly capable of causing the body to exhibit such symptoms, if it is so motivated. Most lycanthropes are under a great deal of stress, due perhaps to the death of a loved one, marriage, divorce, relocation, that sort of thing. They're emotionally vulnerable, which means they're particularly open to the power of suggestion. Somehow they get it in their head that they're destined to take another form. They see something, they read something, someone says something to them. Somehow they come to believe they're supposed to undergo a physical metamorphosis, and so, in their weakened psychological state, they do. Not in so many words, of course. Absolutely. Of course, a person cannot morph into XYZ if that person has no idea what XYZ is. She has to have some prior knowledge of the creature she thinks she has been condemned to become. A book, a website, a movie, a play, a casual anecdote, any number of things could provide her subconscious brain with clues as to how she is to look, feel, and behave in her altered form. There are no hard and fast rules when it comes to lycanthropy, or almost anything else for that matter. But if someone believes that what they're changing into is irrational, or has a bad temper, then they will exhibit irrational, ill-tempered behavior, especially if this is contrary to their former nature. What do you mean by a lot?
I mean a lot.
Well, to tell you the truth, psychosomatic hair growth is extremely unusual. In fact, as far as I know, it's unheard of. No, of course not. Almost certainly. But you might be well advised to keep an eye on her, and please, call me if anything happens.
If anything like what happens?
You'll know, Miss Drew. You'll know. You're welcome. Good day. My pleasure.
La fruit que quelqu'un a mordu. La citron que l'étudiant l'a donné. La fromage pour lequel Jacques est venu. La secret que la fin de l'idée a caché. Je suis tu et il est.
Good. Again.
Je suis tu et il est. Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont.
Again.
Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
I don't need to talk to anyone at home.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
It's Nancy. Just calling to say hi. You don't need to call me back. Bye.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
Hi, Hannah. Bye, Hannah.
I'm sorry, I cannot take your call right now. Either leave me a message at the embassy or call me back later. Thank you. Hugh Penvillin here.
Hello, Mr. Penvillin. This is Nancy Drew. I'm the one who's visiting Linda. You know, from the United States, across the pond.
Hugh Penvillin.
Hello, Mr. Penvillin. It's Nancy Drew again.
Yes, good to hear from you. I am a bit pressed for time, however. Hugh Penvillin.
Hi, Mr. Penvillin.
Nancy, how can I help you? I'm sorry, I cannot take your call right now. Either leave me a message at the embassy or call me back later. Thank you.
Well, he did say he was busy.
I'm sorry, I cannot take your call right now. Either leave me a message at the embassy or call me back later. Thank you.
Still not there.
Yes, of course. Are you at Blackmoor?
Yes, I am, and I've talked to Linda.
Good for you, because frankly, that's something I've been quite unable to do lately. These temper tantrums of hers make rational discourse well nigh impossible. Absolutely none. Ever since I left for Italy. We'll be talking on the phone about the weather or Jane's lessons or something equally innocuous, and suddenly she'll be bellowing at me and slamming the phone down. I promise you, these rages of hers are totally uncalled for and quite unbearable. I love her dearly, but she's making things very difficult. Everything sets her off. Yes, Aunt Letitia. We're not very close, however. She's always been rather aloof, much more interested in being a Penvillin than a person, if you know what I mean. As far as I know, yes, although I have caught my aunt eyeing Linda strangely at times. And of course there's the 6-month habitation clause.
The what?
That's putting it mildly. But then I imagine she's feeling a bit insecure. She's getting on in years and she's alone and she's totally dependent upon me. Financially, that is. Although there is the 6-month habitation clause.
The what?
According to the Penvillin rules of inheritance, the spouse of Blackmoor Manor's current owner, that would be Linda since I'm the current owner, the spouse of the current owner must reside in the manor for at least 6 months. Should she or he leave the manor before 6 months is up, ownership of 1/2 of the estate immediately passes to the next legal heir.
And that would be Mrs. Drake.
Correct. Quite the bundle of energy, isn't she? I'm sure she is, what with a private tutor instead of school and Linda being under the weather. And coming back to Blackmoor no doubt reminds her of her real mother. Renee and I were divorced almost 2 years ago. Jane went into a bit of a tailspin for a while, but she's come to adore Linda. She's been calling her Mummy since the day we were married. Only that they're hundreds of years old and are undoubtedly dangerously decayed. Jane has been ordered to stay out of them. Fortunately, it's highly doubtful she'll even figure out how to get in them. 1 or 2, I suppose. I'm really not sure. I vaguely recall blundering into one when I was a child, but it was very dark and ended rather abruptly, and I found the whole experience to be rather unremarkable. When I told my father what I'd discovered, he merely shrugged, agreed that the passageways were dark, decrepit, and pointless, suggested that I stay out of them, and that was the end of it. I dare say I've never touched it. Mathematics, computer science, linguistics, all the things that fascinated my scholarly father bored me to tears. He gave up on me quite early on. With Jane, however, it was a different story.
What do you mean?
From the day she was born, my father doted on her, far more than he ever doted on me. Read to her, bought her books, games. Truth be told, I was a bit jealous. He passed away when she was still a toddler, so it's unlikely she remembers all the attention he showered on her. But I do, and I still find it so out of character as to be mystifying. No, that was my aunt's doing.
Mrs. Drake?
Yes, she absolutely insisted. She said the Bossinies had been tutoring the Penvillins for centuries and that I was duty-bound to continue the tradition. She kept saying that it's what her brother would have wanted.
Her brother being Alan, your father?
Yes, and I must say I've been quite pleased with Ethel. She's a fine young woman, and Jane seems to enjoy her lessons, strange as they are. Ethel demands that Jane study history, obscure history, Penvillin history. They discuss events that even I, as a direct descendant, find inconsequential, to say nothing of deadly dull. Ever since we moved back here from the US, Jane probably wishes she were in school, like the one she attended in New York, but she doesn't complain, although I would if I were her.
Why?
Well, that would be my ex-wife's brother. Other than the fact that he wears the most ill-fitting, worse-looking toupee that was ever created? No. Why?
Just curious.
A guinea pig? Well, seeing as most guinea pigs are covered with hair and Roger's pate is rather sparsely populated, in my opinion he would have nothing in common with a guinea pig, save perhaps its IQ. Why do you ask?
It's a long story.
Pure medieval fiction, the product of little minds in an era of dangerously little education. I have forbidden Ethel to so much as mention it to Jane. Where did you hear about it?
The man doing research in the library, Nigel Mukherjee?
Another of my aunt's ideas. The fact that the Penvillins have never had a book written about them has been a perpetual source of social embarrassment for her. For months now. Not that he's much of a bother. He's quiet as a church mouse, and he never seems to set foot out of the library. He was recommended by a friend, and he has assured us over and over that the book he publishes will cast only a positive light upon the Penvillin name. Although, come to think of it, I never have seen the contract he agreed to sign, which was to put that promise in writing. The columns in the Great Hall open up. Why on earth would they do that?
I'm not sure yet.
And more to the point, what do the columns in the Great Hall have to do with Linda?
I'm not sure about that either.
My mother-in-law's counting on you to find out what's wrong with Linda. I'm counting on you. Linda's counting on you. I do hope you won't allow yourself to get distracted. Vaguely. Oh, yes. At least, I think it was a guinea pig. As I recall, it spent most of its life hiding under the shoebox Jane had put in its cage. It was black, I think. Harmless fellow. Utterly useless, of course, but harmless.
What happened to him?
It passed away a year or two ago. I told Jane she was feeding him too much, but... well, at least the little bloke died happy. Renee is in Rome too? I knew she was traveling, but she neglected to tell me her itinerary. Fortunately, it's a big city, but thank you for the warning. Anything else? Anytime. This is an extremely busy time for me, so I apologize in advance if you call and I'm unavailable.
I understand.
Good. Cheerio. Do keep me posted. Good luck. Wish I could be of more help.
I can't use that here.
You had a guinea pig?
Yes, but it died.
When?
I don't know. I'd really rather not think about it, alright? Actually, it's Bridget's room. It used to be her room. She died like 300 years ago. You can see a painting of her in the Great Hall. She's the one with the telescope. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 25 tries. Try to beat my record. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 40 tries. Try to beat my record. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 45 tries. Try to beat my record. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 50 tries. Try to beat my record. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 60 tries. Try to beat my record. You beat my score! Felicitations! You're too good, Nancy. Very nicely done. Executed like a professional. Good job. You go, girl. Guess you're not quite up to snuff. Not quite. Close, but no cigarillo. Nice try. Wah, 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 wah. Better luck next time. Nope. Good show, but you didn't beat my score. I really like this one. Have another go at it. Want to play again? You're so good. Give me another try. Do you want to play something else? Good job. Smashing. You're quite reflexive. You rock. Smokin'! You're as fast as a March hare, Nancy. I won. You lose. I got more. We can play bull, constellation match, petroglyph punch, skull and bones, and I also have a jigsaw puzzle. It was a tie. We'll need to play again. Tie? We'll need a tiebreaker. We're even. Let's play again. Too bad. You lose. Let's see how quick your reflexes are. I'll time you. On your mark, get set, go! 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Time! If you get the puzzle done in time, I'll return the telescope. If not, then you'll have to try again. My friend Hugo bought this for me. It's like Go Fish, but you have to collect 3 of a kind of weird things like zombies and ghosts. You go first. You go first. This is a game I bought in Arizona. You have to make as many matches as possible. On your mark, get set, go! And here's your reward. Ta-da! Un glow stick pour vous, madame. Good show! You beat me. You're so good, Nancy. Right as rain. You're on fire. No flies on you, Nancy Drew. So sorry. You'll have to try harder next time. You've got to do better. Almost, but not quite. No glow stick for you. You're so very good. Great score! Hooray! You've won! Woohoo! Fanfare, please. You must be Nancy. I'm so pleased you're here. I'm Jane. I know you've come to visit my stepmom, but I'd love it if you could pop by whenever you get the chance. Oh, we'll have such fun. Let's play a game. Hi, Nancy. So, did you find what you were looking for in that secret passageway? Nancy, I'm so afraid. Someone just sent me this horrid message. Look at this. Hi. No. Don't really know. Never heard of that. Let's play this card game I found in your room. Okay. I actually found it in your room. Are you really? I mean, none of these weird things started happening until you came to Blackmoor. How do I know it's not you who's behind all this? I think not. I don't think I can trust anyone right now. I wish I'd never come back to this place. It's old and cold, and I hate it. And I just don't want to be here. I don't want to hear. It's so scary to think people can be looking about behind these walls. But you shouldn't tell anyone about them either. If you do, they'll probably close them off and say they're too dangerous. Sure, what do you want to know? About Mummy? I mean, Linda. I do hope you'll help. She's been a bit out of sorts lately. I think maybe it's because of the lady in black. I was playing in Mummy's room when she wasn't there, and when I looked up, there was a lady all dressed in black putting something on Mummy's nightstand. I couldn't see her face because she wore a cape with a hood. The lady put a note on Mummy's nightstand, but I didn't read it. That's when Mummy started feeling poorly. I don't want to think about that. Let's play a game. It will cheer me up. Look inside the chest over there and pick a game. My great-aunt said it's a hope chest, so I put my games in there in the hope someone would come over to play. Okay. Do you want to play a game? You won. Good show. I'll put the telescope back in your room first chance I get. I found one, but all it did was lead to this funny picture. Wouldn't you rather play a game with me? I'm so bored. No, we'll play a game, and if you win, I'll tell you where it is. Do you want to play a game? Cool. Okay. I found the secret passageway in the East Hall. That's the hall with the coat of arms on the door. But it's not a very exciting secret passageway. You're going to be totally bored. Wouldn't you rather play a game with me instead? You have to wind her up. Unfortunately, my great-aunt took the crank off. She's always doing mean things like that. My great-aunt took the key. She probably thought I'd break something in there. But I found another one. Once I saw my Uncle Roger's toupee fly off during a windstorm. Talk about freaky. No, but I have heard weird noises like this. Howling. But not like a dog howling, more like something human. I don't want to think about that. It's scary enough having to live in this gloomy place. That would be lovely. Which game would you like to play? I have a fun astronomy game. I don't know why you have to go there. But if you must know, the way I got in was by moving the hands on that statue with all the arms. I was just playing around with them when this secret door just suddenly appeared. I highly doubt it. I mean, if there were, wouldn't someone have already found it? When I asked Ethel about it, she said that it's the Penville name and heritage that should be treasured. Blech. I took it outside to look at the stars. But if you want it back, you'll have to play a game with me. Sure. Yes, but I won't tell. Not unless you beat me at Skull and Bones. Why do you want to play some dumb old computer game when you can play a game with me? No, I've never played it. Magic word? No. I think you're spending a bit too much time with that parrot. Like I said before, I couldn't really see her face, but she was kind of dressed like the lady in the Great Hall. A flashlight? Oh, Nancy, flashlight is an American term. In the UK, we call it a torch. I don't have one, but I do have a whole bunch of glow sticks. If you want one, you have to play a game with me. That's the rule. Yes, but you know the rule. First, we have to play another game. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Coo, you're a daft one. Imagine me and Ethel running around in the middle of the night, pouring oil down drains. Well, isn't that when weird rituals usually take place? In the dead of night? Anyway, you were probably just having a bad dream. Believe me, this castle can sometimes give you nightmares. Eleanor, I know it sounds weird. That's why I didn't want to tell anyone. It's too creepy. Sometimes I wonder if I just dreamed it all up. Mrs. Drake is always saying I have a rampant imagination. You can come in any time you want, even if I'm not here. I've got some really smashing things. I'm so happy you've come, Nancy. I hope you can make Mummy feel better. Come back soon. Toodles. Ta-ta. Au revoir. Bye. I did it perfect that time, didn't I? Well, almost perfect. Yes, Ethel. Yes, Ethel. Yes, Ethel. Good night. That was written by Charles Penvillin way back in like the 1500s. When I read it, it seemed really familiar, you know?
What is this book?
Don't know, really. Ethel gave it to me. She said it belonged to my grandfather. Do you think Brady Armstrong is cute? No, what are they?
I was hoping you could tell me. I found them in the hallway.
I've never seen those before in my life. Oh, Ethel, do I have to learn this?
Yes, I'm afraid you do.
If I do well, can we play a game?
Yes, but only in French.
Oh.
Écoutez, répétez. Je suis, tu es, il est.
Je suis, tu es, il est.
Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont.
Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont.
What has Ethel really been teaching you?
The firstborn of every other Penvillin generation gets to learn the family secret. One of my ancestors gave the Bossonies the job of making sure that initiates like me are properly prepared. The firstborn of every other Penvillin generation gets to learn the family secret. One of my ancestors gave the Bossonies the job of making sure that initiates like me are properly prepared.
Do they know the secret?
No, we have to figure it out for ourselves. Only you beat me to it. To that horrid rock. No, we have to figure it out for ourselves. Only you beat me to it. To that horrid rock.
Tell me about Milo again.
He was Randolph's grandson and the first initiate. Odo did not have the proper qualities for Randolph's instruction.
Because he was stupid?
No, Jane. It's because Randolph believed that the proper qualities skip every generation. We talked about that, remember?
I guess.
Milo was a great soldier, just like his grandfather. And with his grandfather's help, he was victorious at Caen.
That was a battle fought in 1417, during the 100 Years' War.
That's right.
But I don't understand something. The 100 Years' War lasted longer than 100 years, right? So why do they call it that? Why don't they call it the 116-year war? Huh?
Oh my, look at the time. We need to go over your geometry. Please open your book to page 46 and read silently.
I got this at this really neat museum in the States. It's supposed to be an original Maya game, but don't worry. You don't have to, kill people or take their hearts out or anything.
Looks like you're learning some interesting stuff.
Bet you wouldn't say that if you were the one who had to learn it.
Who's this?
That's my mum, my real mum. She's an opera singer. It's not like she's famous or anything, but she does live in Paris.
Filius, filii, filio, filium, filio.
Filius, filii, filio, filium, filio.
Filii, filiorum, filiis, filios, filiis.
Filii, filiorum, filiis, filios, filius.
And filius is Latin for?
Son. I'll be blue. It's really easy to play. You roll the corn and move your warrior the number of dots on the corn. If no dots, then you get to move 5 spaces. You get 2 turns, but you can pass on your second turn. You just keep on going down this track, and you can capture my person if you land on him. Whoever gets all the warriors wins. That's my mum, my real mum. She's an opera singer. It's not like she's famous or anything, but she does live in Paris. Aren't you glad we don't have to use that thing to cook our food?
I saw the kitchen. What happened to it?
I guess you could say I happened to it. But it was Ethel's fault. She inspired me to study the oxidation rates of different kinds of cookie doughs. Only my snickerdoodle experiment got away from me.
Okay if I bake a cake for Lulu?
Sure, knock yourself out.
I'm going to bake another cake for Lulu, if that's okay.
Help yourself. Here, you can keep it if you want. Nigel gave that to me when I was in the library once. I think he was hoping it would scare me, but it didn't. I'm too smart to believe in that sort of stuff. Now look on the other side.
You sure have a lot of games.
I love games. I want to make computer games when I grow up. That symbol is a rune. Right side up, it means protection like a shield. But there, it's upside down. It means I'm in danger. Brigitte with her eyes so bright looks toward heaven at midnight. On the longest night of year, that's the one she holds most dear. Story friends, she's often heard to say, how I wish that I could make you stay. She knows though they can't remain, time will bring them round again.
Brigitte with her eyes so bright looks toward heaven at midnight. On the longest night of year, that's the one she holds most dear. Story friends, she's often heard to say, how I wish that I could make you stay. She knows though they can't remain, time will bring them round again. Brigitte with her eyes so bright looks toward heaven at midnight. On the longest night of year, that's the one she holds most dear. Story friends, she's often heard to say, how I wish that I could make you stay. She knows though they can't remain, time will bring them round again. Here's your glow stick. If this one goes out, I'll let you play for another one. Here you go. You won. Good job. Okay, the password for my grandfather's computer is on his coat of arms, plain as day. I used that to make cakes for Lulu the parrot. That's why the ingredients are so nasty. Like I would eat mealworms. I totally love that show. Isn't Brady Armstrong so dreamy? Total hottie. Nancy, what did you do? Oh no, what happened to Lulu? Aw, I'm telling. You're in big trouble, Nancy. Hi. Let's see. Rats. Here we go. Pass. You can go. Your turn. Too bad. So sad. Sorry. Another warrior bites the dust. Ha! Oh no. You lucked out that time. No fair. Let's play again. Just one more game, please. Are you sure? Aww.
I'm going to bake another cake for Lulu, if that's okay.
Go right ahead. That actually smells kind of good. You're getting to be quite the birdcake cook, aren't you? Nope. Start digging. Do you have any skulls? Any bones? Your witches, please? Do you have any zombies? Any bats? Would you happen to have any ghosts? Do you have any coffins? Tombstones? Do you have any spiders? Any haunted houses? Go dig. Dig. Nada. Sorry.
You had a guinea pig?
Yes, but it died.
When?
I don't know. I'd really rather not think about it, all right?
What is this book?
Don't know, really. Ethel gave it to me. She said it belonged to my grandfather. Do you think Brady Armstrong is cute? That's my family tree. Ask me anything about anyone. Go on, ask me. Like he married Eve. Duh, no kidding. I actually don't know anything about him. I think he was the son of Hugo, though, but I forget. She was a nun. I think she lived in Ireland. He was my grandfather, but I didn't know him because he died when I was little. I guess he was nice. He was very mysterious, and the people of Blackmoor were afraid of him because he knew all these scientific things. No one knows much about him, though. A nun. He was Odo's brother. He lived in the Wild West in the Americas and was a bandit with El Diablo's gang. She was absolutely mad about cricket, the game, not the insect. She actually saw the first cricket match in 1744. Personally, though, I can't stand the sport. She never married and was bonkers for astronomy. She adopted her sister's son, Richard, who later got killed at Waterloo. Caroline was a chemist and helped identify the element lanthanum. I'm not sure what the element does. I think it's a heavy metal. Cassandra was totally obsessed with lawn tennis and was one of the first people in England to have a court installed at her home. Hector was the first ball boy. She lived the longest of any Penvillain. I hope I live that long, but not if I'm all like creaky and cranky. She married the Lord of Limerick and did a lot of needlework. She had a ton of kids too, like 20. Can you imagine? Charles was a famous judge and wrote very important books on law. But his boy, Garrett, drowned while he was really young. Oh, this is so cool. They say he was a spy for England, even though he lived in France. Isn't that so very? I'd like to be a spy. I don't know. He doesn't have a coat of arms in the Great Hall because he didn't live here. Wasn't even a British subject. That's all I know. I don't know. I'm kind of tired right now. He was into cows. He did a lot of breeding of cows and sheep and got some kind of award from the king. He lived in France with his father, Le Comte de Roquefort. He was very interested in languages and translated books from Greek and Latin. He was a big explorer and went all over the world. He wasn't very close with his son, who was also an explorer. They'd only see each other by chance in weird remote places like Samarkand and Walla Walla. Just that she was burned as a witch, but it wasn't true, and her father, James, died when he saw her die. And then the family fled to France. I don't want to talk about this. Like the Queen of England? Oh, you mean Elizabeth, my ancestor. It's weird that she's the only ancestor named Elizabeth, since it's such a popular name. Esther Penvillain Romberg, born in 1897 and died in 1951. Her friends called her Polly. He got into a big fight with his brother James and lived in France. He was a dwarf and became a trusted confidant to Louis XIV. Little people often held positions of great esteem at that time. He was a soldier for the French. He was killed in the War of Spanish Succession in July of 1702. He drowned on his 19th birthday. He lived and died. End of story. They were lost at sea. I guess they traveled a lot to Canada, especially to Oak Island. She married the Duke of Ballingsford, but she stayed at Blackmoor to raise her son Thomas, who inherited the estate when his grandfather Charles died. He made pizza. No, I'm joking, of course. I don't know anything about him except that he died in 1433 because he outlived all of his siblings. Can we stop soon? Helene married the Duke of Bouville and died in 1760. End of story. He had a lot of kids, and his dates were 1401 to 1466. That was Isabel. She wrote many letters about the French Revolution and actually saw Marat's dead body in the bathtub. Talk about gross! He died when he was 9. Don't laugh, but he invented the lawnmower bag in 1831. I swear I'm totally not making this up. He never married, but one day, when he was very old, a baby was found at the doorstep to the manor. He took her in and raised her as his own. That was Eleanor. Hello, it's pronounced Jean. He was killed by a boar on a hunting trip. They eat people's flesh, you know. No, I'm kidding. But he really did get killed by a boar. Serves him right, though, for hunting some poor little animal. I'd rather not. I'm kind of bored. Wouldn't you rather play a game? It's Genet. I think he wrote plays, maybe. I don't know, I forget. He was an opera singer, just like my mum. He sang in some Mozart operas, I think. He was this huge naturalist and did a lot of exploration in the Amazon. I think there's a plant named after him. Or maybe a monkey, I forget. No, that's how they spelled it then. She got married to this duke somewhere in Flanders. Yeah, they used a lot of Latin names back then and weird spellings. He became like a priest or parson or something. Loves plants, hates noise. You can ask her about it. She's usually in the conservatory with her plants. Isn't that a pretty name? If I have a daughter, I'll name her that. He was a doctor of medicine and did a lot of research on icky skin diseases. Happily, I'm blessed with perfect skin. I forget, I think she was... I don't know. She died when she was a little girl. It was really sad. She got shipwrecked on this deserted island with a whole bunch of yahoos and they wrote a story about it. Yeah, that's it. She was completely daft. She'd wear really bizarre outfits and she was one of the first women to ride on a steam train. Milo inherited not only his grandfather's red hair, but his military prowess. Milo was instrumental in the siege of Caen and was awarded even more lands by Henry V. He died in the flu epidemic. She died when she was a baby. I have many ancestors who died young, but Ethel said that Penvillans in general live a long time. He lived in the U.S. for most of his life and married this weird woman named Eustacia. She's still alive and sometimes calls us. She's totally creepy. Yeah, he isn't very exciting really, like farming and cows. His son Milo is much more interesting. I don't know much about her except that she was very loved by practically everyone in England, and there were a million poems written about her. If I have a boyfriend, I'd never let him write a poem about me. Let's see. He had a wooden leg, and he was attacked by wolves once. That's all I remember. He made a fortune in the New World and bought back most of the lands that were confiscated by Cromwell, which I think is boss because everyone was so mean and nasty to the Penvillans up until then. She died in France during the war. I guess she worked for the French resistance. Randolph the Red, so named for his bright red hair, was considered a hero at the Battle of Poitiers. For his heroism, King Edward III awarded him with the lands in the region called Penvillin. That's how we got our name. He died in Waterloo fighting against Napoleon. He was a knight but died in some kind of jousting tournament. He was twins with Josephus. It's a real sad story. She and her granddaughter Rachel lived in France during the war and were killed. He lived from 1358 to 1412. No, 1411. We don't know very much about him. She was a big collector of Impressionist artwork, but most of it was destroyed in a fire. He lived most of his life on the island of Mauritius and discovered like 1 million plant species. He was Charles's grandson and wrote a lot of poetry. He also had 3 wives, Catherine, Anne, and Mary, but not like at the same time. They died and he just remarried. She was married to the Duke of Barrowbold and died in the Great Fire of London. He was born in 1448 or 9. I'm kind of bored doing this right now. He was Edward's little brother. He named his son after him. He was an explorer just like his father. He was kind of a whiner, so I heard.
No key without toil, no fire without oil. No key without toil, no fire without oil. No key without toil, no fire without oil. No key without toil, no fire without oil.
Oh yeah, my actions ensure that my name will endure to the end. Penvillin. Whatever you just found, it's mine. I'm the Penvillin, not you. Besides, I would have found it before you did if I didn't have to sit there all day learning all that other silly rubbish. What is that? A rock? 600 years of secrets and mystery and puzzles, all because of a stupid rock? No way. There must be something under it.
Help! Nancy, help me! It's pitch black in here. I can't see anything. Get me out of here, please! I'm sorry I was mean to you before. I'm sorry for everything. It's my fault Linda's sick. I mean, she's not really sick. I just made her think she is. I left that curse in her room and gave her allergy pills and put her medicine in a moisturizer. I just wanted to go away. I just wanted to be Daddy and me and Mommy, my real Mommy. Please don't make me talk anymore, Nancy. There's no air in here. I can't breathe. Get me out of here, Nancy, please. I'm running out of air. Nancy, hurry.
Thank you.
Now go to your room.
Go to my room?
Everyone's sleeping. Go to your room and set your clock.
What time do most people get up around here?
6 a.m. 6 a.m. Set your clock for 6 a.m. Sweet dreams. Lulu hungry. Lulu want cake first. Ding dong, sing along. Brigitte's coat, be sure to note. Pretty tune, stars and moon. Favorite night, your delight. Silly girl, lenses going telescopes.
But where's the telescope?
Jane took it. Jane took it. Never trust a kid. Day and night makes all the difference. Day and night starts with Z, ends with C. Ask the stars. That's an order. It's all in the book. It's all in the book. Make room for reading. Cricket has the ball. Cricket has the ball. Ready, aim, fire. Scope it out. Scope it out. Put in your order and be very amused. 2 in the conservatory, 4 in the great hall, 7 in the hallways, 13 in all. The key is the columns. The columns are key. And Lulu is very, 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 very pretty. The columns are key. So is the book. Give the dumb book a really good look.
Just bring me that male crab and you'll be home free.
To get Betty on demand, go and ask a Penvillin. It's in the book that Alan gave. The ugly statues want a wave.
You mean want a wave?
Lulu says what she means and means what she says. Look at their shields. Line up the pipes and go with the flow. Corbin's the key. Corbin and his boat of charms.
Boat of charms?
To rhyme is divine. Edward knows. He's coded with answers. He's armed with the truth. Get the door! Get the door! Talk to Tommy about Fred and Johnny. Jane's room. Jane's room. Writing's on the wall. Step by step. Step by step. That's the name of that tune. Go to the web. Go to the web. The symbols you see are on the web.
I know they're on the web. I just don't know what to do with those buttons.
Make the substance on the right by pushing the buttons on the left. Brr, be careful, be careful. If you're wrong, kaboom! Go to the web, go to the web. The symbols you see are on the web.
Okay, so once I know what the symbols mean, then what do I do?
Make the substance on the right by pushing the buttons on the left. Brr, be careful, be careful. If you're wrong, kaboom! Play the fingers to get the key.
To get what key?
The messenger, the messenger. He needs to loosen up.
You're not being much help, you know.
Look in the lab! Look in the lab! Corbin knew all! Hot marks the spot! Hot marks the spot! 2 sides to every story! The room with 4 doors. Just get that far. Then look in the bowl and see where you are. Not what word? Which word? Which word? Clever bird. Which word? Look in Jane's room to tell which word you should spell. There are 6 steps, so listen closely. 8 to 5, 5 to 3, 3 to 8, 5 to 3, 8 to 5, 5 to 3. This strategy's good. You won't come in last. Win more than 3 from your opponent on your second roll. Pass. Jane has the answer. Jane knows the word. Jane can be so helpful. You'd think she was a bird. Move 1 space or 2. It's all up to you. But after you go, the 4 winds will blow. If they're aiming your way, from the pitch, keep away. The middle button press, if up you should mess. Catch all 4 and indeed, you'll have something you need. The key to the key, the initiates be. To their 12 shields belong a clue to each prong. Silent book, take a look. Almost there, but beware. This may not be baseball, but by this rule abide. If time's running out, slide, slide, slide. Tell your troubles to Lulu. Talk to me.
Oh, forget it. Stay in Italy as long as you want, then. Some kind of husband you're proving to be. It's not all in my head. Don't bother.
Oh. Oh, no.
Hello. Top of the morning to you, matey. Uh-oh, not good. Stay away. Stay away. Hello. Say goodnight, Gracie.
What's that supposed to mean?
Say goodnight, Gracie. You look beat. Get some sleep. Scared ya? Did you? Did you? Lolo. 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 Behind you. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Nothing there. Fooled ya. Not Polly. Ding. Sorry, that is incorrect. Magic word, magic word, magic word. A deal's a deal.
Okay. I guess I'll go try to figure out what the magic word is.
So, what's your word?
Barber.
Cake first. Lulu hungry. Cake first. Cake first. Delicious. But parrot is silly, silly, silly bird. Jane's room. Jane's room. Look in Jane's room.
All right, I guess I'll look in Jane's room.
What Lulu wants, Lulu gets. What's the magic word? Ding. Sorry, that is incorrect. Lulu want magic word. Magic word, magic word, magic word. A deal's a deal. Magic word, magic word. What's the magic word? Clever and beautiful. How true, clever and beautiful.
Easy, Lulu. You're hurting my ears.
Leech. Picture? Book. Picture book. Bonnet. Baby bonnet. Yeah, baby bonnet. Glass. Hour. Glass. Hill. Lulu would say ant hill. Lulu is a clever bird. Ode. Sonnet. Ode. Ha ha. Dear little kitten. She lost her mitten. Newton. Apple. Newton and the apple. Busy as a bee. Your word is milk. Lulu's word is bottle. Milk bottle. Cake. Lulu want cake. Lulu. Bye, bird. Cheerio. Don't leave me. I love you. Bye. Bob's your uncle. Felicity. The door. Polly is a stupid bird. Who's the pretty bird in the mirror? And the winner is Lulu. Pay no attention to the bird behind the curtain. You're gonna need a bigger boat. The time has come for closing books. Pretty bird. No. Pot of glue. It's locked. Pot of glue. What are you doing out of bed? Ding dong, all is well. The witching hour is close at hand. You woke me up, you naughty bird. It's later than you think. Quiste rogavit, bene vidi vici, semper ubi sub ubi, morituri status.
I'll take that as a yes. Would you mind translating something for me?
Fire away. In this sign, in hoc signo, in this sign you will conquer. Success! Prosperitas means success! The conquered shall envy the dead. What the gods want happens soon. Ignorance is caused by fear. As you sow, so shall you reap. The smallest things are the most important. In all that you do your best. Art lives long. Ars longa, art lives long. Fortune favors the bold. A new world. Novus mundus, a new world. There is beauty in all things. Without science, art is nothing. Sport without fun is not sport. If only this could last forever. Whoever lives well lives twice. Another day wasted through the ears to the spirit. Divine light is my guide. Go Badgers! Garbage out. The longest day of the year is solstitium, the summer solstice. The shortest day is bruma, the winter solstice. Equinoctium vernum is a spring equinox. Equinoctium autumnalis is a fall equinox. Day equals night. Lulu's always right. Do take care of Nellie. The croc! Top of the world, Ma! Oh. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. Fight the power. Goodbye, dearie. See you later. Rosebud, I cannot see to see. I'm melting. Oh. Farewell, my friends. I go to glory. I have nothing more to say to you. Thanks, Ollie. Precious. Oh, my precious. I can't afford a carrot. The rest is silent.
Nancy Drew, our friendly neighborhood detective. Well, welcome to Blackmoor Manor. I apologize for greeting you under such unusual circumstances. My condition? What's my mother told you? What her son-in-law keeps telling me? That it's all in my head? That I'm just an unhappy new bride? That I just need time to adjust? I'm tired all the time, my mouth is dry, my vision is blurry, but that's not important. Here's what's important, Nancy. I'm tired all the time, my mouth is dry, my vision is blurry, but that's not important. Here's what's important, Kitty. There are some doors that should never be opened. There are some doors that hold secrets which must never be known. That's everything you need to know. Now how am I feeling? Well, I feel like... I feel like something really strange is happening. Could I be more specific? The ace detective is grilling me for details. What lady in black? Jane never said anything to me about a lady in black. That kid is so weird. I just don't get her. Yes, I know. I just don't know how to be a stepmother to her. She's just so... strange. Look, just forget about me. I did receive something. But it's none of your concern. I haven't told anyone what I'm about to tell you. Mostly because what happened is all my fault. I should have listened, but I didn't. All I know is I've awakened something in this house. Something that refuses to rest. One day after Hugh left for Rome, I inadvertently discovered a secret passageway. I started to explore it. And pretty soon I found this really old-looking message etched into the wall. When I read it, I realized it was some kind of ancient curse. No one. You see, I'd been warned not to go poking around by Hugh, Mrs. Drake, Ethel. They all said the manor is old and dangerously decayed, so I made sure no one was watching. I can't tell you that. I've already caused my own doom. I won't do the same to you. You have no idea what you're up against. I burned it as soon as I read it. I don't know why I bothered telling you this. You can't do anything for me. I should have listened, but I didn't, and now what's done is done. How could you have missed it? It was right there, just waiting to be found, wanting to be found. I can't believe how foolish I was. That stupid gargoyle. I hated how its evil eyes would stare at me whenever I walked to my room. So I moved it around, changed its position, kept fiddling with it. But when that secret door suddenly opened, I couldn't resist going in there. What do you mean, witch gargoyle? I thought you said you found the secret passageway. You're right. I did get too close to something. That witch that was burned at the stake. She's cursed me, and she's probably cursed you too.
Mummy, can I come in?
No. You're supposed to be in your lessons.
Lessons are over. I want to meet Nancy.
I said no, Jane.
Okay.
That was my stepdaughter. She can be such a pest sometimes. Anyway, I understand you feel an obligation to my mother, but trust me, there's nothing you can do. You're welcome to stay, but I strongly recommend that you go home as soon as possible. You can't help me, and that's that. I'm sorry. Nancy? I can't believe you're still here. I thought for sure that... Maybe you can help me. I tried to laugh it off, but it was kind of unnerving. So I went back to my room and found a note on my nightstand. And on it was written the exact same curse. That very night, I started to feel strange. The curse has been coming true ever since. And even if someone did see me in the passageway, I went directly to my room afterwards. How could someone write down the exact same curse and get it into my room before I came back? No, I've already sealed my own doom. I won't do the same to you. I'm not going to tell you anything. Not on your life. I've already said too much. I've been giving it the old college try, believe me. But she can just be so strange sometimes. She'll just do the oddest things. Like one night just after Hugh left, she came into my room and insisted I read a book to her. That could be part of it, but the book was on monsters, vampires and werewolves and witches. I mean, what kind of little girl reads books like that? She fits right into this house, that's for sure. A well full of nice cold water sounds good. My mouth is so dry and I always seem to be thirsty. And I get so hungry. I said go! Now! Get out! Do you hear me? Get out! You don't know everything, Nancy Drew. And in my case, you don't know anything at all. I want you to go home. It's for your own good. Just tell her I've had some problems adjusting to my new life, but I've accepted my fate and now everything's fine. In fact, I'll call her and tell her that myself. In any case, you're hardly in a position to bargain. I'll just call my mother and tell her I don't want you here, and that'll be that. In the meantime, please leave my room and don't bother to come back. There's no mystery here, just fate. I have nothing more to say to you, nothing. I've been hearing things, music, very faint, very brief. Out of nowhere, going nowhere. Like bells in a faraway church. You?
It's kind of a long story.
No.
Well, I heard them too, so don't worry. You're not hearing things.
Not that I know of. She may have had one at one time, but not since we've moved here from the States. You should go. No, something else did this. Something not human. Goodbye. I hope so. Please.
Yuck. Did you order this meat?
I told you, I get hungry. Now go away. Please, just take it away. And from now on, just bring me what I ask for. Yes, Mrs. Drake.
Puer, pueri, puero, puerum, puero.
What does puer mean?
Puer means boy. Vir, viri, viro, virum, viro.
Vir is Latin for what word?
Man.
Very good. And now the plural?
Pueri, puerorum. Pueris, pueros, pueris. Pax sax sarax ola noa nostra.
Again.
Pax sax sarax ola noa nostra.
All settled in? Good. These constant intrusions are most irksome. Yes? Have you seen? The well is filled up again. It's very curious, but quite wonderful. I'm happy that you're visiting Linda, but I know how much you teenagers like your televisions and loud stereos, so I must insist that you act respectfully and civilly while you stay with us. Since my nephew Hugh is away on business, I am in charge of this household, and if there's one thing I cannot stand, it's noise. Oh, Linda simply needs some time to adjust to her new living situation. England is not the United States. We do things differently, or should I say properly, here. The doctor believes it's just a case of nerves, what every British schoolgirl needs to know. All of her schooling in the States has left her with, shall we say, a cultural deficit. She's in capable hands now. I don't know, and the doctors don't know. No one seems to know anything. All I've been told is that Linda is unwell, and that in her stead, I must look after matters. Yes, she is. Just as all Penvillans before her, Ethel Bossany comes from a long line of tutors that have taught many generations of Penvillans. Now, please, I really do not have time to entertain you. You may have the run of the house, but do not break anything, and refrain from mucking about with items that aren't yours. 2 rules Jane seems incapable of following. And before I forget, our kitchen is being remodeled, so our dining situation is rather unorthodox. I've made arrangements with a local restaurant to deliver meals to us. There should be a programmed number for them on the phone in your room. Feel free to order whatever you'd like. Hugh's daughter Jane is staying with us and would very much like to meet you. But please try not to distract her. She has her studies and mustn't be disturbed during her lessons. We do not have any permanent house staff, if that's what you mean. The Penvillans have always been self-reliant. We get on quite well without being continuously mollycoddled by a squadron of insipid, gossiping ne'er-do-wells. Now, we do have 2 other house guests. Our Mr. Nigel Mukherjee, who is researching the Penvillan family history in the library, and Ethel Bossany, Jane's tutor. Oh, I am at a loss as to what to do about her. A complete loss. Sometimes extraordinary situations require extraordinary measures. I thought that perhaps a charm would help. Whatever it is that's plaguing that poor thing. Oh, for heaven's sake, child, where did you ever get such nonsense? Poppycock! A ritual in the middle of the night? Young lady, I will not abide such wild stories. Imagine Ethel Bossany recruiting my grandniece into some kind of secret society. Next thing you'll be saying Linda has been cursed by some roving spirit, or that we have ghosts prowling about. It's not broken. I removed its crank, as it was proving to be too much of a distraction for Jane. I suppose I could see where it's gone to. But in the meantime, be a dear and do something for me, would you? Do you see that hodgepodge of plants over there? Yes, his language is quite colourful, isn't it? He's Cockney, you see. My brother Alan and I loved to make up Cockney rhymes when we were young. We'd drive our governess quite batty. Haven't got a pot of glue, haven't got a pot of glue. Ha! How we teased her. My brother Alan found it somewhere in the house. He was quite fascinated by it, but he'd never let me look at it. It was purely your imagination, unless you saw a stray dog. But I will not countenance any histrionics about this issue. We have enough to worry about with Linda. And please do not get any ideas about going outside to investigate. I do not want you tracking mud all over this house. Go see Nigel in the library. He's going to write a book about our family history. He was quite remarkable. He taught linguistics and computer science and won many prestigious awards. He loved games, especially pranks, and was forever tinkering with this and that. I do miss him sometimes. I'm not quite sure. We never really used it, but it was always full of water. That is until my brother died. And then it just dried up. Most of these plants were brought over by my grandfather. He was quite the adventurer. I remember when he brought back Lulu from the Amazon. At first, Mother wouldn't allow us to play with it because it had picked up too many unsuitable words from sailors. But it gradually learned proper manners. Lulu is a very old parrot. She must be over 80 years old. Please be very careful with her, especially if you feed her. Parrots have quite delicate constitutions, you know. Magic word? Oh, yes. You see, my brother and grandfather would play a word game with Lulu. I never understood how it was played, but they'd play for hours. Lulu would sometimes grow sullen and refuse to play the game anymore unless they told her that... Oh, what was it that they'd have to tell her? It's perched on the tip of my tongue. They had to tell Lulu that she was a very, very clever and beautiful bird. No, of course not. I've lived here for many, many years, and I can tell you without a doubt that absolutely no ghosts walk these halls. An occasional odd creak here and there, yes, but no ghosts. But I do sometimes wonder if those who have passed away remain with us, lingering on. I miss my brother terribly, and I sometimes wonder if he is in some way still here. A what? A flashlight? I'm sorry, but we do not possess every new gadget simply because our American cousins do. Well, that is quite an inappropriate question. But since you asked, Hugh and Renee did not heed my advice and ended up marrying ever so young. Far too young. People grow in strange ways as they get older, and all too often they grow in different directions. What? I fail to see why that is any of your concern. But if you must know, I was only trying to help Linda. No, that was my brother's toy. A clue, dear. Haven't got a clue. Rhymes with glue, you see. But now he's gone. He died a month after my husband passed away. And ever since I've been here all alone. Until Hugh came back from the United States, that is. Jane was inconsolable after the divorce, but she's responded quite well. Especially after Hugh remarried. No, I'm afraid not. Jane ruined all of ours with some sort of experiment she cooked up. But I believe she may have some of those glow sticks for illumination. Why don't you give it a try while I see about that crank? If we both succeed, we shall both be happy, if you catch my meaning. Were you able to get all those plants back in the box? Wonderful! And I managed to find that crank. There you go. Good day. Good evening. Run along. The pleasure is all mine, child. Oh my, you're looking a bit peaked today. A spot of fish fertilizer. That's what you need. Once I pot you up again, you'll be right as rain. And how is my favourite Aurelia doing in its new pot? Why, look! Another shoot. What a good philodendron you are. I'm just going to pinch a little off here and a little off there. Now that didn't hurt, did it? Well, aren't you the pretty spider plant? Oh dear, getting a tad dry, aren't we? Are those dreadful spider mites gone? Or is it time for another bath? And how is my little purple tiger today? Remember, they must all fit in that box! Remember, they must all fit in that box. Pot of glue. Ha! Those were the days. They're my prize seedlings. I had them perfectly arranged in that box, so I could easily move them about to catch the light. Unfortunately, Jane took all of them out when I wasn't looking, and now for the life of me I cannot get them back in the box, so that they all fit.
Do you have allergies, Mrs. Drake?
Oh, yes! Hay fever. Although I'm not at all sure what's worse, my allergies or that medication. It makes me feel as if I'm about to float right out of my shoes.
Did you say something, Mrs. Drake?
Not to you, dear. Who's hungry? Who's ready for some nummies? But how can you expect to feel better if you don't eat properly? A healthy digestive system cannot do without roughage, you know.
Please don't touch those. I'm still organizing them. Those manuscripts are very old and brittle. They date back to the 14th century. Odo Penvellyn collected most of them. His father, Randolph, and son Milo were rather more interested in military victories than in book collecting. I doubt you'll find much of interest in there. They're mainly law books. Charles Penvellyn was a prominent judge in the 16th century. Sad to say, he lost his son at a young age, left his estate to his grandson, Thomas. Those are mainly Penelope Penvellyn's collections of French novels. She was a patron to a raft of artists, and her salon was quite popular. She was quite the libertine, even kept her maiden name after her marriage. Fascinating piece, isn't it? James Penvellyn sculpted it in 1591, although it appears that wand was added at a later date. He was quite a flamboyant figure and never married, but one day a child appeared quite mysteriously in the castle, and he took her in as his own. That was Eleanor, and many of the townfolk believed her to be a changeling or fairy baby. I couldn't quite track the provenance of that piece, but Philippe must have brought it back from the New World. He became quite wealthy as a merchant in the Americas, and restored Blackmoor's original splendor after it had been abandoned for years. His daughter Penelope continued the renovation, commissioning the construction of this library by Roger Vizier, who built a similar one for the French general Jean Leboeuf.
Who's Alan?
Alan Penvellyn was a noted researcher in computers and languages. Jane let me into his computer, but there was nothing much of interest on it.
What's the password?
I'm not sure. Hatchoo!
Gesundheit.
Danke. Hatchoo!
À tes souhaits.
Merci. Hatchoo!
Viewed Zadorov.
Spasiba. Interesting. I'm researching Philippe Penvellyn, and it appears that many scholars believe he was a pirate. That would explain his source of wealth.
Nigel? I thought you said you were going to leave Blackmoor.
I just have a couple of things to wrap up. They're taking me longer than I thought they would. You're not in a hurry to get rid of me, are you?
No, not at all. Do you mind if I use this computer?
No, not at all. But it's very old. Feel free to use mine if I'm not here. Please don't. Nancy. Kitty. Hatchoo! 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 Interesting.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Petroff. It's Nancy Drew.
What's happened? How's Linda? Hello?
Hi, Mrs. Petroff.
Hi, what's going on? You have reached the Petroffs. No one can come to the phone right now. Feel free to either leave a message or call back. Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Petroff. It's Nancy Drew. I just arrived at Blackmoor Manor. Why don't you give me a call when you get the chance? Bye.
You have reached the Petroffs. No one can come to the phone right now. Feel free to either leave a message or call back. Thank you.
Must be at her niece's.
You have reached the Petroffs. No one can come to the phone right now. Feel free to either leave a message or call back. Thank you.
Still at her niece's.
Hello?
Hi, Mrs. Petroff.
Hi, how's it going? Hi, Nancy. It's Mrs. Petroff. How is everything? Have you seen Linda yet? I'm just about at my wit's end. I've never known her to act like this. The last doctor that examined her said that aside from a little dry skin, which is not unusual for her, she was perfectly fine. I have no idea. When I was out there last week, I got fed up and pulled the curtain back. She threw a fit, but otherwise she looked absolutely normal. A little pale, perhaps, but who wouldn't be pale, cooped up like that? I don't know why. I mean, she absolutely adores Hugh. She was thrilled when they got married and couldn't wait to start a new life with him and his daughter there in England. Something has changed her. Something in that house. Hugh is just as bewildered and upset by her behavior as I am. Please get to the bottom of this, Nancy. You're our last hope.
She's fine. I mean, she's no worse, at least as far as I can tell.
That's good news, I suppose. What can I do for you? He was called to Rome. As a diplomat, he's always being called out of the country without warning and without any say in the matter. He'd much rather be there with Linda, although... It's just that Hugh said it hasn't been very easy for him to talk to her lately. Whenever he calls, which is at least once a day, Linda always seems to fly off the handle for no reason, which doesn't make sense. Linda has always been extremely level-headed and even-tempered. She never gets angry. At least she didn't used to. No. Linda told you she found a secret passageway?
Yes. Do you think she wasn't telling the truth? The good news is I found a secret passageway too.
So Linda wasn't imagining things. That's encouraging.
The bad news is I didn't see what Linda says she saw inside it.
Oh, and we're back to square one. She's Hugh's aunt. She's taken care of Blackmoor Manor ever since her brother died. He was Hugh's father. She's a bit of a character. Yes, Mrs. Drake. Why do you ask? Frankly, I was too worried about Linda to take notice of much of anything there. Except that most of the rooms I saw looked like they'd been decorated by a medieval monkey. What do you mean? Oh, dear. Well, she may want you to leave, but I don't. Not until you find out what's happening to her. She never calls. I always have to call her. And even then she'll barely say 2 words to me.
She says she doesn't want me at Blackmoor anymore. She wants me to leave.
The way she spends all her time in that conservatory, slouching around, trowel in hand, murmuring to herself. You'd think she was burying something. Or somebody. Not really. Mrs. Drake told me who he was, but whenever I passed the library, he was always on his cell phone, talking as if he didn't want anyone to hear. You know, furtively. Not a word. He was taking great pains to make sure he was not overheard. No, I never did. Say, you don't suppose he has something to do with what's been happening to Linda, do you?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still, gathering facts.
I'd forgotten all about him until just now. He was up to something. I don't know what, but he was up to something. What's going on?
It's Lulu. I'm afraid I bet it's something I shouldn't have.
Well, Hugh Penvillin just called to say that his little girl just called him. She's upset, which means he's upset, which means you've been uninvited to Blackmoor Manor.
You mean...
Call a cab, dear. You're fired. I don't know. Given her fragile state of mind, what's true and what she thinks is true may well be 2 different things, that's all. I didn't arrange for you to visit Blackmoor Manor so you could spend your time scaring the wits out of elderly women.
But I really had no idea Mrs. Drake would react like that. I mean, all I did was knock on her door.
It was the dead of night. What on earth were you expecting? For her to get up and have tea with you?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Petrov. I guess I wasn't thinking.
Well, unfortunately, what's done is done, and there's nothing more to be said. Well, there's one more thing.
I'm fired?
Bingo. Goodbye, Nancy. Goodbye, Nancy. Oh, one more thing. My niece is on call and her husband's out of town, and I told her I'd go over there and babysit if she had to work. So if you call and I don't answer, that's why. Bye. Thanks, Nancy. Take care.
I should throw something else at it. I need the key. Looks like a piece is missing. I need something else for this. Something liquid goes in here. Something fits in here, but what? I need a special key. I need something to wind it up. I need something else. It eats meat. I don't need that right now. It would be rude to use it now. Someone might hear me. No signal. This is not the right time. I can't get in there right now. One word, Einstein. Wrong. Something goes here. That was a little creepy. Smells like oil. Someone's coming. I should check it out. What are they doing? What is that? The sounds are coming from under there. I'd better stay inside. If I track mud in the house, Mrs. Drake will kill me. Looks like I need a key. A tripod. For a camera, maybe? Wonder what this is. This lens is supposed to go into a telescope that sits on a tripod. Linda? Hi, it's Nancy Drew. I don't want to disturb them. She's probably sleeping. Looks like some sort of charm. Maybe I should take another look at Brigitte's coat of arms. Cool. There are symbols in that mural that I couldn't see before. What's that? Mrs. Drake? Is that you? If I want to look around in there, I'm going to need a flashlight. I still need something to help me see in there. I need to get another glow stick from Jane. No signal. So much for using my cell phone in here. Still no signal. There goes my cell phone. What was that? Guess for long-distance calls, I'm going to have to use my cell phone. That must be the food I ordered. This smells delicious. Loop-de-loop, otherwise known as soup. Bangers and mash, huh? Looks like sausages to me. Looks like Pinky and Perky is turkey. I knew that. And Uncle Fred and Johnny Rudder are just plain old bread and butter. A meat pie. That dog's eye thing had me worried. I'm hungrier than I thought. Tommy's cooking is beginning to grow on me. That doesn't fit. Wonder what goes there. The lens fits, but it won't turn. It stopped working. It looks like something fits into this indentation. Another indentation. A few more turns and we should be back in business. I could try to hit the bullseye I saw when I went down that slide with a cricket ball. Something tells me this key is going to come in handy. Weird symbols. Maybe knowing what that snake symbol means will help me figure out what the others mean. Maybe this was some kind of security system that Eleanor devised when she was helping Cromwell's enemies get out of the country. Mercury's all covered up. It looks like the rest of this grid is on the other side of the wall. Oh my gosh, the room is moving! I'm at the bottom of the well. This must be some kind of well. But where's the water? I think I've played this game. Darn it. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I pass. Your turn. You can go. Oopsie. Gotcha. I win. Darn. Nuts. I'll get you next time. I don't want to play anymore. Let's play another time. Guess who wants another cake? Afraid not. Do you have any skulls? Do you have any bones? Do you have any witches? Do you have any zombies? Do you have any bats? Do you have any ghosts? Do you have any coffins? Do you have any tombstones? Do you have any spiders? Do you have any haunted houses? You're going to have to go dig. Go dig. Get out your shovel. Sorry. That is one big key. It doesn't work. I must have made it wrong. Well, might as well melt the old key down and try again. Now what? If I were Alan, what would my password be? I wonder who Alan is. Darn, I was too slow. These are the most boring memoirs I've ever read in my life. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Probably because the well's empty. It's a game based on that children's book John Penvellin wrote. Someone deliberately set this up so they could use this squirt gun to hit those tiles over there. The well's full now. John Penvellin. Betty, huh? Well, hello, Betty. Okay, Betty, deal 'em up. You're not palming cards or anything like that, are you, Betty? Sorry, Betty, you lose. Those symbols look familiar. All right, Betty, let's see what happens now. I won! All right, Betty, pay up. This wand probably works through magnets. The key fits, but it won't turn. I need to put some kind of grease in there first. I'll bet butter would loosen up this lock. I can use my Johnny Rutter to grease up that lock outside Jane's room. That was really good. I'm stuffed. That hit the spot. This'll loosen things up in there. There. Barber. And a picture of a parrot. What's a parrot got to do with a barber? Barber. And a picture of a parrot. I wonder if Lulu has something to do with this. I wonder if these are what made those red eyes I saw outside the night I arrived. If I want to use this, I'm going to have to figure out a way to light it. The forge is lit. Wow, looks like I won't be needing any more of Jane's glow sticks. What is that? What was that? Scratch marks. Like something was trying to get into my room. Where'd this come from? Doom shall come on swift wings to thee who hath seen forbidden things. Something tells me this used to belong to a wolf. This looks like it came from a wolf. Uh-oh. My glow stick seems to be running out of glow. I don't want to get caught in here without any light. I better ask Jane for another one. Oh no, my light went out. I can't see a thing. Looks like it's time for another glow stick. Shoot, here we go again. This phone number just might come in handy. Love, Mom. Looks like Jane's real mother is in Italy, just like her father. What has Ethel really been teaching you? Do they know the secret? This looks like some kind of medieval forge. That kind of looks like the forge I saw in that book Jane has. That looks like some kind of forge. That kind of looks like the forge I saw in that old alchemy lab I found. A keyhole. Who's this? Got 1, 3 down, 10 to go. 10 down, 3 to go. There, ghost number 13. This house is now mine, so of this be warned. Thou hast angered me and shall soon be gone. I'll bet that's the gargoyle Linda was talking about. I'll bet that's the gargoyle Linda was talking about. And it looks just like the one in that painting I saw. Guess he had a thing for gargoyles. The gargoyle in the painting looks just like the one Linda was talking about. She must be asleep. Maybe she'll give that to me if I win. Penny, short for Penelope. I'll bet that's whose game this was. Penelope Penvillins. Hello? Anyone down there? Looks like Mr. Mercury caught a chill. Only the blameless shall pass here. All others shall transform into beasts. Tooth and nail shall grow long, and hair shall turn coarse, till their aspect be as loathsome as their cold hearts. Prove thy worthiness, and memorialize here the innocent one so wrongly condemned for saving lives. Else consider thyself right and truly cursed. Wonder what happened in there. Mealworms. Ugh. I'll bet this book can help me figure out how to get that old forge going again. And maybe even how to find the Penvillin treasure. A carnivorous plant. Cool. Whoa! Almost got me. That's probably not a good idea. Looks like John Penvillin may have developed some of the plants that are in here himself. Who is that? The hands move. Okay, let's try this again. Try again. Once more. Missed. All right! No more ghosts. Guess I was too slow. Nuts. Well, I'll just have to be faster next time. Maybe I'd better have a look around. There's got to be an easier way to figure this out. That's not good. Can't use my cell phone down here. I can see into the library. I just made that statue of Mercury move. Sounds like I did something right. Something tells me I better not mess with this until I know what I'm doing. Guess she's not in her room. Jane may be studying. I probably shouldn't bug her. This must be Mrs. Drake's room. Looks like Nigel forgot his laptop. Hello, Mrs. Drake? Are you in there? Mrs. Drake? Oops. It looks like I'm at the bottom of some kind of well. Nothing happened. Maybe I need to turn it in a different direction. Whoa. Sounds like the big guy out there just took a step, and the winds sound none too happy about it. You are one big drink of water, aren't you? It sounds like air is going to the forge. Who says you can't catch the wind? Another wind bites the dust. Looks like Mr. Big went back to where he started. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Well, that didn't do anything. Messing with her plants is probably not a good idea. Wow, I did great! Too bad Nigel's not here to see my score. Oops, I don't think I did that right. Rats, this has not been my day. Penelope Penvillin. Wow, this letter was written more than 200 years ago. Penelope Penvillin. My dear initiate. All yours. Whoa, something tells me I just succeeded in lighting the forge. You got a match. Good for you. A match? You're doing great. I got a match. That's a match. What was that? The floor's buckling. I can see into Linda's room. That's the library. This looks like some kind of ancient mold. I better get rid of the cake I have before I try baking another one. I won't need the oven until I have something to bake. If I open the door now, I'll flood the place. Let's see if she has any Calliope cards. Wonder how she's fixed for Cleo's. Let's give Errato a try. Let's see what's shaken with Euterpe, shall we? Polyhymnia. Let's give you a try. Got any of Melpomene's buddies over there, Betty? Okay, Terpsichore, do your thing. Okay, Bets, fork over your Thalias. Maybe she's got a Urania or two. All right, Pegasus, let's see what you can do. Afraid not. Sorry, Betty. Don't have any. Too bad. Nope. Darn. And Betty gets a match. All yours. Lucky. I can't quit before I know the secret. Do you mind if I make something?
Go right ahead.
That doesn't look like a curse. Yikes! Ow! Hey! Ow! Maybe I should try feeding it something. A dragon. According to Nigel's notes, Albert Penvillin used a dragon to symbolize the forge that was in that alchemy lab of his. There's that dragon again. Or should I say forge? These old manuscripts look interesting. Is there a story behind these books labeled 16th century? Are all these books really from the 18th century? What can you tell me about this mask? Those tiles around the door. It looks like I can move them. As the moon rises upon thee, fear not, but draw upon the strength of absent friends and toast to their memories and happiness and wonder. With the stalwart heart of a knight, let charity be thy guiding angel. Stay firm in knowledge as a dedicated geometer, and fear not the ravages of Father Time. For, dear child, as you learn the lessons of folly, the secrets of this world shall dawn in thy soul. Each of those cups seems to be associated with a Roman numeral. Wow, molten metal. Looks like a chunk of metal. I should see if the key I made works before I try making another one. Well, that didn't do anything. Maybe there's something else I need to do first. This reminds me of that picture I saw in the Mutus Liber. I'm supposed to press the button under the blue triangles I want to move, then press the one under the group I want to move them to, until I wind up with a group of just 4 triangles. I can't leave Blackmoor yet. Still won't turn. I'm tired. Maybe I should get some shut-eye. I could use some sleep. I'm exhausted. I should head to my room, set my alarm, and get some sleep. I should probably go to bed. By pulling out different plugs, I can create different patterns in the mold. Looks like some winds are stronger than others. I don't have much time. Come on, Nancy, move it. Don't worry, Jane. I'll get you out of there. Somehow. Oh no, I'm too late. She's run out of air. Maybe I could get that statue to lift that box off of her. I've got to figure out a way to get that box off of her fast. Doom shall come on swift wings to thee who hath seen forbidden things. Its head is turned. I wonder if the lens I found in that box would fit here. I guess I couldn't beat your record. I took too many tries, but maybe next time. Nope, couldn't beat your score. It's too heavy. I can't leave yet. There, that looks right. It looks like some kind of key. Her mother told me she refuses to let anyone see her. Is that true? Is that what you believe? Is she privately tutored? Do you know why Linda refuses to let anyone see her? Is anyone else staying here? Do you know what's wrong with Linda? What is Jane studying? I'm concerned about that thing I saw outside. Who else is staying here? What do you know about Linda's condition? Not right now. Goodbye. Just wanted to let you know I got here safely. What's going on? A little on the spooky side. Next question, please. Linda Linda Penvelin. She just stays in bed all day, hiding behind a curtain. It's very weird. She doesn't think so. Frankly, as creepy as this place is, I'm beginning to wonder. Linda told me that her problem started right after she found this curse in a secret passageway. Nope. I had to type Nigel Mukherjee's memoirs last night. Apparently, each of Jane's ancestors had different coats of arms. I think Linda may be turning into the Beast of Blackmoor. I don't know that. And I'm kind of hoping I don't find out. Sully the family name, mostly. I discovered that Jane's father and her real mother are both in Rome right now. I have a feeling there's more to what Ethel the tutor is teaching Jane than meets the eye. Ethel said something odd to me about how she was teaching Jane what every other Penvelin should know. I overheard Ethel telling Jane about her ancestors. She said Milo Penvelin was the first initiate. That thing with the oil I told you about. I heard Jane say something about doing it right, as if it was something Ethel had taught her. I think Linda really is turning into the Beast of Blackmoor. Well, I've discovered some kind of medieval alchemy lab. This place may look like a staid English manor, but it's really just one big funhouse. Well, for one thing, I've discovered some kind of medieval alchemy lab. Figure out what the deal is with that forge, I guess. Well, actually, the forge looks like something I saw in the strange book Jane has in her room, which means I should probably check it out more thoroughly. Well, actually, the forge looks like something I saw in that strange picture book Jane has that I told you about before, which means I should probably check it out more thoroughly. And behind the last door I found, I discovered this old forge. I'll talk to you soon. Strange. Interesting. There. How do you do? Hello, Ethel. Wow, I feel so embarrassed. I didn't think I'd have a fan club all the way over here. I saw Jane's lesson schedule. That's quite an unusual list of subjects. She's obviously a very intelligent young woman. I found a secret passage off of the East Hall. I was looking at the artifacts. They're quite intriguing. I don't think that's any of your concern, but I'm curious about where they lead. Do you think there is treasure hidden somewhere in the manor? I guess I should explain. Would being initiated have anything to do with secret rituals in the middle of the night? You seem to know an awful lot about these passageways. Why is that? What you're teaching Jane looks pretty rigorous, but interesting. Have you seen the book in Jane's room called the Mutus Liber? It almost seems as if it's telling some kind of story. Do you know where it came from? Have you ever heard the legend about the beast of Blackmoor damaging to the Penvillans? Do you know much about the Penvillan family history? Well, I won't keep you any longer. See you around. I could use a hint when it comes to that weird star box that's in my room. I need a hint as to what to do with the lens I found in that star box thing. Any hint as to why that lens I found seems to fit in this groove in the wall of my room just like a key? Only it won't turn? I found this panel in my room with symbols all over it. Any hint as to what they mean? How about a hint when it comes to that squirt gun game in the conservatory? I don't get it. Any hint as to what the deal is with a bullseye I passed when I went down that slide? Any hint when it comes to those keys you can press when you play that game with Betty? Can you give me a hint when it comes to finding those ghosts in time? I need a hint when it comes to what to do with whatever it was I got when I moved those tiles around the outside of Jane's door. I need a hint when it comes to what to do with that prize I got when I pushed those zodiac buttons in my room. I need a hint when it comes to what to do with that whatchamajig I got when I hit the bullseye with that cricket ball. I need a hint when it comes to what to do with that weird object I got from Betty. I need a hint when it comes to what to do with that wand I got from the statue in the library. I need a hint when it comes to what to do with that thing I got when I played that squirt gun game in the conservatory. I could use a hint when it comes to getting Betty working again. Any idea how to fire up that old forge I discovered? Any hint as to which direction I should be turning those old suits of armor I found in the columns in the Great Hall? What's the key to moving that gargoyle so the secret passageway Linda told me about will open up? In which directions should I turn the hands on that dragon statue in the East Hall? Do you know? The key I have fits the lock by Jane's door, but it sticks and I can't turn it. Any suggestions? I can move the tiles that go around the outside of Jane's door, but I don't know what order they go in. How about a hint? What's the secret to opening that musical lock? Do you know anything about those buttons that are below the Ouroboros? What's the deal with that old knight I found by the peephole that looks into the library? Any hint when it comes to the grid I found at the end of that secret passageway? How about a hint when it comes to getting to the other side of that moving maze? Any idea what word I'm supposed to spell using those runes in that secret passageway? Any idea what I'm supposed to do with those symbols on the wall in that secret passageway? I could really use a hint when it comes to solving that puzzle that's on the door of the well. Any hint when it comes to winning that game called Bull that Jane has? Would you happen to know the password for the computer in the library that used to belong to Alan? What's the secret to winning the win game that's down in that old laboratory? I can't seem to forge a key that will make that big lock in the lab turn. I can't seem to wave my wand over all the gargoyles fast enough. Help! How good are you at giving hints? How about a hint? She gets angry for no reason? How long have these tantrums been going on? Are you sure you didn't inadvertently say something, argumentative? There must be something that sets her off. I understand that Mrs. Drake is your aunt. Does Linda get along with her? She seems kind of irritable. I met your daughter Jane. I get the feeling that she's a little lonely. How long have you and her mother been divorced? What do you know about the secret passageways here at Blackmoor? How many passageways are there? Did you ever go in them? Have you spent much time on your father's computer? The one that's in the library? Are you the one who hired Ethel to be Jane's tutor? What do you mean by strange? How long has she been Jane's tutor? Who's Uncle Roger? Is there something wrong with him? Do you have any idea what he'd have in common with a guinea pig? What do you know about the Beast of Blackmoor? How long has he had access to the library? Do you know much about him? Are you aware that those columns in the Great Hall can be opened up? Do you remember the guinea pig Jane used to have? Did Jane ever have a guinea pig? Did you know that Jane's mother is in Rome? It was nice talking to you. Have you ever heard anything strange at night that sounds like chanting? Do you happen to know what the symbol of a snake eating its own tail means? Sure, Jane. What would you like to play? Not right now. Maybe later. I'd like to ask some questions first. That was fun. But I'd like to ask you some questions. Let me try one more time. I wouldn't take this seriously, Jane. Someone in this house is up to no good, and I'm determined to find out who it is. I think you can trust me. I know you're upset, but please, you have to trust me. I'm on your side. Let's just say you live in a very interesting house. Let's play again. Do you know why she doesn't want to be seen? When did she start getting sick? Did you recognize the woman? The woman left something? Sure. What would you like to play? Not right now, but maybe later. Sure. Maybe some other time. I'll see you later. Have you ever seen these before? I was hoping you could tell me. I found them in the hallway. Okay, not right now. I'll talk to you later. Do you know of any secret passageways in the manor? Do you think you could show me where the passageway is? I'll play a game with you after you show me the passageway. If I play a game with you, will you tell me where the secret passageway is? Sure. Maybe some other time. I'll see you later. Let's play that bull game. That card game downstairs doesn't seem to be working. Do you know what's wrong with it? The East Hall is locked. Do you know how I can get in it? Have you ever seen anything strange outside? I mean, have you seen a strange animal outside? Do you want to play a game? Up for a game of bull? Want to play whatever game this is? Let's play that constellation matchup game. How about a game of petroglyph punch? Can I try the jigsaw puzzle? Feel like playing skull and bones? Want to play constellation match? How do I get into the secret passageway in the East Hall? Do you think there's a treasure hidden around here? Jane, did there used to be a telescope in my room? I knew you were going to say that. Okay, what's the game? Can we play that game again for the telescope? Do you know what the password is for the computer in the library? Have you played that game on the computer in the library about the 13 ghosts? Do you know what the magic word is for Lulu? The lady in black you saw in Linda's room. Did she look like anyone you know? Do you have a flashlight? Could I get another glow stick? Jane, I saw you and Ethel performing some kind of ritual. What were you doing? You and Ethel were pouring oil or something down some kind of drain. I didn't say anything about it taking place in the middle of the night. Which lady? Which Penvillain had his portrait painted with a gargoyle? I should get going. I'd still like to know the password to that computer. How about another game of skull and bones? Let me try again. I want to play again. That is the Penvillain treasure. Looks to me like a meteorite. No, don't touch it! What do you mean by everything? Do I detect a guilty conscience? Why? You made her think that she's changing into the Beast of Blackmoor, didn't you? Jane, I told you not to touch it. Jane, I told you not to touch it. What's not good? Lulu, it's me. You don't have to be scared. Oh, it's just a parrot. No, you didn't. Polly want a cracker? What's your name? Okay, I get the point. Lulu. What's behind me? You're just playing a joke on me, aren't you? Okay, I won't. I'm not falling for that. There's nothing there, Lulu. Lulu is a very, very clever and beautiful bird. You mean like a cupcake or something? You're pretty spoiled for a bird, you know that? A cake, huh? All right, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I know the drill. Does the word barber mean anything to you? Please? Thank you? I have no idea. The word annoying comes to mind. I know the magic word. Does the word picture mean anything to you? You very, very clever and beautiful bird, you? Oh, very, very clever and beautiful bird. What's up with the word baby? You're such a very, very clever and beautiful bird. I'll bet the word hour means something to you. If I said ant to the very, very clever and beautiful bird, it would say, what about the word parrot? Oh, very, very clever and beautiful bird. I know you're a very, very clever and beautiful bird and all, but what's the deal with the word ode? Does the word kitten mean anything to the very, very clever and beautiful bird? What does the very, very clever and beautiful bird know about the word Newton? Does the very, very clever and beautiful bird have anything to say about the word busy? Okay, Ms. Very, very clever and beautiful bird. The word is milk. Lulu want a yummy cake? All right then. What does the word picture mean to you? Okay, Lulu, tell me, what's up with the word baby? Good. So tell me what the word hour means to you. I'm glad. So tell me about the word ant. Good. Now, let's get back to the word parrot. What does the word ode mean to you? Tell me about the word kitten. If I said Newton, what would you say? So what's the scoop on the word busy? Now, let's talk about the word milk. Bye, bird. Oops. Linda? Hi, it's me, Nancy Drew. Hi, Linda. I'm sorry to bother you again, but Jane told me about the lady in black. Linda? Linda, how are you doing? Linda? Linda, I found the secret passageway. Jane told me where it is, but I didn't see any curse in there. Linda? How are you doing? Linda? Okay, I'll let you rest, but I'll be back. I'm here for you if you need me. Your mother is very concerned about your condition. Could you be more specific? Linda? Okay, I understand. I'll talk to you later. I'll be going now. She seems very concerned about you. Did you receive a note or something that's upset you? Linda, you have to give me a chance. Everyone is so worried about you. If you just tell me what's happened, maybe I could help. Linda? What's all your fault? What did you do? Refuses to rest? What did you do? I can handle it, Linda, really. Can I at least see the note that was left on your nightstand? Which gargoyle is this? So there's more than one. I can't go home empty-handed. It might jeopardize my ace detective status. Please, Linda, just tell me what's wrong. And I'm sorry to have to bother someone in your condition. So how are you feeling? I know I can help you. Just tell me what's wrong. What did the lady in black leave for you on your nightstand? Did anyone see you go into the passageway? Where is the secret passageway? Can you tell me what this curse said? I made a promise to your mother and I plan to keep it. I'm here for you when you need me. Linda, I think someone's trying to scare you off. I think they thought you were getting too close to something that's hidden in this house. Tell me about the secret passageway you found. Tell me again how you opened up that secret passageway. How well do you get along with Jane? How so? Maybe she's just trying too hard to get you to like her. That doesn't sound very odd to me. Maybe she was just trying to cheer you up. Is there anything I can get for you? Why? But I like talking to you. You know, no matter how incredible or frightening things may appear, there's almost always a logical, sometimes even simple explanation. I can't go home until I have something to tell your mother. If you agree to open this curtain and let me see you, I'll agree to go home. Actually, that was me. Have you ever heard them before? It's kind of a long story. Well, I heard them too, so don't worry. You're not hearing things. Does Jane have a pet guinea pig? I'll see you soon. Do you by any chance know Latin? In hoc signo, prosperitas, victim invidio solenti, cito fit quod Dei volunt. Temendi causa est nescire, ut cementuum feceres ita metes. Minima maxima sunt, age pro veribus, ars longa, audaces fortuna iovat, novus mundus, pulchritudo in omnia, sine scientia ars nihil est. Ludi sine gaudio ludi non sunt. Si sic omnes, bis vivat qui bene vivat. Diem perdidi, per aures ad animum, numen lumen, pergamentum exit. Bruma, aequinoctium vernum, solstitium, equinoctium autumnalis. I think Ethel is trying to recruit Jane into some kind of secret society. I saw Ethel and Jane performing this ritual in the Great Hall in the middle of the night. Right. Well, I'm sorry for bothering you. I'd like to play the card machine in the Great Hall, but it's broken. Sure. Like what? I spoke with Mr. Tucker at the Boar's Head pub, but frankly, I'm not at all sure what he said. Pot of glue? The picture book in Jane's room. Do you know much about its history? This place must have quite a history. Where can I learn more? What was your brother Alan like? This conservatory is very beautiful. But why isn't there any water in the well? Who is Lulu? Can you tell me about Lulu? Do you know anything about Lulu's magic word? Do you believe that Blackmoor Manor is haunted? Do you have a flashlight I could borrow? Do you have any idea why Hugh and his first wife got divorced? Why did you put that charm above Linda's door? Do you know what the password is for the computer in the library? Would you have a torch that I could borrow? Were you able to find the crank for that card machine? Never mind. I managed to get all those seedlings back in the box. Great! Thank you.
This program will rate your speed. Just type the characters that appear on the screen. If you're good enough, I'll let you type up my memoirs, and then I'll let you see the coat of arms. What? That's terrible! My pet chinchilla could do better than that. Not bad, but too slow. Too slow. Excellent score! Now, here's what I'd like you to type up. These are my memoirs. I think you'll find them quite interesting. Guess you're not quite up to snuff. Not even. Close, but no marshmallow. Nope. If you don't show any improvement, I'll feed you to my chinchilla. Better luck next time. Oh? The statue. It's moving! No!
Who was Adam? Who was Agatha? Who was Alan? Tell me about Albert. Who was Anisha? Who was Anor? Tell me about Arthur. Tell me about Brigitte, the one who was born in the 17th century. Tell me about Brigitte, the one born in 1759. Who was Carolyn? Were Cassandra and Hector twins? Wow, Catherine sure lived for a long time. What do you know about Cecilia? Who was Charles? What about Colin? Tell me about Corbin. Who was Cynthia? Tell me about Edmund. Who was Edward? Tell me about Edward, the one from the 19th century. What can you tell me about Eleanor? Who was Elizabeth? Who was Esther? What did Francis do? Tell me about Francois. Who was Frederic? Tell me about Garrett. It looks like George and his brother Henri died in the same year. What happened? Can you tell me about George, the one born in 1566? Who was Gillian? What did Guido do? Who was Helene? And Hugo, who was born in 1763? What about Jacobus? Who was Jacques? Who's James? Tell me about Jean. Tell me about Geoffrey. Who was Jeanette? Who was John, the one who was born in 1873? What do you know about John? Who was Joan? Is that misspelled? Who was Joseph, Josephus? What do you know about Letitia? Tell me about Lucia. Who was Malachi? Who was Marge? Who was Marjorie? Who's Marianne? Tell me about Martha. What about Milo? What did Nahum do? Who was Nicolina? Tell me about Obadiah. Odo. That's an odd name. Who's Penelope? Who was Peter? And Philippe? Who was Rachel? Tell me about Randolph. Tell me about Richard. Who was Robertus? Tell me about Rose. Tell me about Simon. What did Sophia do? Who was Theophile? Tell me about Thomas. Who was Virginie? Tell me about Walter. Who was the William who died so young? Who was William?
Ah yes, are you here from the agency? It's about time. Hello, Nancy. Hello! Oh, I almost forgot to thank you for typing my manuscript. Was Corbin's coat of arms helpful? Yes. Hello, Nancy. Uncovered any interesting Blackmoor facts recently? Ah, there you are. I'm sorry to inform you that I shall soon be leaving Blackmoor. I just have a few things to take care of, and then I shall bid you adieu. Detective Drew, how goes the case? Oh dear, you're not the typist from the spiffy specialty agency, are you? Well, how do you do? I'm Nigel Mukherjee. I'm researching the Penvillen family, and Mrs. Drake has graciously opened the library for me. Nothing much has been written about the Penvillens. Until now. It might have something to do with their scandalous history. Or perhaps it has something to do with the family treasure. Well, having a family member burned as a witch can hardly be considered a mark of pride, I dare say. And then there's the whole business with the Blackmoor beast. Eleanor Penvillen, tried and convicted of witchcraft in 1650, quite the height of the witch trials here in Essex. It was rumoured that Cromwell arranged the conviction. Oliver Cromwell? Ironsides? I suppose they don't teach history any longer in the US. Lady Penvillen was a rather vocal critic of Cromwell's policies and helped many of his enemies flee the country. Whether she actually was a practitioner of witchcraft is unknown, although many visitors to the manor during her tenure reported hearing strange, ghostly bells. Some even saw phantom hands floating about the manor, tolling their charmed chimes. I'm quite curious about their progenitor, Randolph the Red. He was a brilliant soldier in the 15th century. As a reward for his exemplary military service, he was given the land that surrounds this castle as well as the castle itself. Some say the source of his military strength was a strange stone. Of course, that's all legend, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? For centuries, the Penvillens have been very secretive. Some believe they're protectors of a fabulous treasure, or of some dark secret. It's a story that's been told for generations out here. During the 1600s, many of the villagers reported seeing a strange beast with red eyes and giant fangs prowling the moors. They asked the mistress of Blackmoor Manor, Eleanor Penvellyn, to put a bounty on the beast's head, but, oddly enough, she not only refused, she forbade anyone from hunting the creature. It was rumored that the beast was Eleanor's husband, whom she had cursed for finding out too much about the Penvellyn secret. Who knows? There are several skeletons rattling about in the Penvellyn closet. Take, for example... Really? How extraordinary. Are you sure it wasn't just jet lag? Perhaps it was the cursed husband of Eleanor Penvellyn, prowling about the moors in search of lost Yanks. Probably because he never lived in Blackmoor. After Eleanor was executed, the Penvellyns lived in France until Philippe returned in 1714. The coat of arms is quite extraordinary. In fact, several of the Penvellyn heraldry are distinct in that they contain unconventional, conventions. Let me take a look at that photo. I have good reason to believe this place is genuinely haunted. There's no way I'm staying here 1 minute longer than I have to. Thankfully, I've finished most of my research and have enough to start my book. Oh, come now. You're not the only one who can do a little bit of investigation. Out for a bit of treasure hunting, are you? Well, I'm on your side, Nancy. Mum's the word, right? Perhaps it was the Blackmoor beast. Those are the Penvellyns who owned Blackmoor Manor at one time or another. That's Corbin Penvellyn, born in 1670 and died in 1741, I believe. He was Eleanor's grandson and spent his life in France. It was rumored that he secretly returned to Blackmoor to continue his grandmother's experiments in the mystical arts. I didn't realize you were so interested in Penvellyn history. I'd be happy to show you his coat of arms, but I'm in dire need of a typist. Perhaps, if you can help me out, I can find that which you seek. Perhaps first we should see how fast you type. Certainly. Well, no, but I figure that I might as well get them out of the way so that once I do become famous, they'll be ready. Once I write my book on the Penvellyns, it's sure to be a bestseller, especially if I get some good press on it. Well, no. However, you mean like Norse runes? No, I haven't. I don't really know much about them anyway. Dead languages aren't really my bag, you know. The Ouroboros? It's a very old image and is usually associated with alchemy. You really do come up with the strangest questions, Nancy. It was making me a bit, nervous. I just couldn't stand it looming over me like that, staring at me, watching my every move. I think she's an odd lot, that one. She has no formal background in pedagogy or scholarship. I would be a much better influence on Jane were I her tutor, but Mrs. Drake insists on employing Ethel. Tally-ho! Farewell! Goodbye! Valet! See here. The shooting stars symbolize Corbin's heritage, since Randolph the Red's shield also contains this imagery. But the formation is quite intriguing. The shield is divided in 8 sections, but some sections contain no imagery. Moreover, the unbalance between dexter and sinister is quite baffling. Sorry, that's a term used for describing heraldry. Dexter is Latin for right hand, and sinister means left. It gets even more confusing because this describes the sides from the coat of arms point of view. So we'd say there are 2 shooting stars in the upper sinister or left-hand corner. No one knows for sure. It's very rarely used in heraldry. Heraldry is the study of armorial bearings. Things like coat of arms, insignia, etc. In England, heraldry is quite complex and contains information about a person's interests, business, or family history.
Hello? Literally speaking, no, but I did talk to her. Not that she told me anything. Yes, and I'm afraid she seemed really depressed. Why is she hiding behind that curtain? Maybe she's just unhappy here. Where is Hugh? Mrs. Petroff? Are you there? Although, what? Did Linda say anything to you about finding a secret passageway? Who exactly is Mrs. Drake? In what way? I noticed. When you were here visiting Linda, did you ever see or hear anything odd? Blackmoor Manor looks like the kind of place that most people would assume is haunted, don't you think? No reason. I'm afraid Linda has stopped talking to me. She pretty much told me to get lost. She didn't call you? Did you meet Nigel Mukherjee when you were here? Could you hear what he was saying? So you never talked to him? Goodbye, Mrs. Petroff. Agency? No, I'm Nancy Drew, a friend of Linda's. Yes, it was. But why isn't his coat of arms in Blackmoor? Yes, it was. What can you tell me about it? Why? Where are you going? Detective Drew? Which case? Pleased to meet you. My name's Nancy Drew. Are you visiting Blackmoor Manor? I'm Nancy Drew. What are you working on? Why do you think that is? Sounds intriguing. Scandalous history? Family treasure? Is that what you're going to write about? You mentioned some kind of scandal with the Penvillin family. Who was the family member? Blackmoor Beast? Cromwell? But she wasn't actually a witch? What do you know about the first Penvillin? Randolph the Red. Why doesn't the family want people to learn about them? You said something before about a treasure? Are there any other interesting people in the Penvillin family? Tell me about the Penvillin family treasure. Can you tell me about the Blackmoor Beast? When I was walking up to the house, I saw something with red eyes that called out to me. Penvillin's secret? You said something about a witch? Positive, and I heard it make this kind of growling sound. Who's Eleanor Penvillin? Very funny. Dexter and Sinister? What does the shooting star represent? What is heraldry? You mentioned Dexter and Sinister. What does that mean? What does the shooting star symbolize? When I arrived here, I saw some kind of creature with red eyes outside. What's that? Who are all those paintings of in the Great Hall? Who is the man in the Great Hall with the gargoyle? Where can I find his coat of arms? It's a deal. What do you want me to do? Phew, done. Finally. I feel like I've been typing forever. Nigel! Nigel! May I try that typing test again? Your memoirs were quite intriguing. Will they be published soon? How will you become famous? You mean you don't have a publisher yet? Have you seen any runes anywhere in the manor? Do you know what the symbol of a snake eating its tail signifies? Why is the statue of Mercury all covered up? What do you think of Ethel Bossany? I'll let you get back to your work.
Hello?
Hi, Ned.
Hey, Nancy. Hello?
Hi, me again.
Hi, what's up? Hello?
Hi, Ned.
Hey, what's the latest? So how's Blackmoor Manor?
A little on the spooky side.
And what has Detective Drew discovered so far? Let's just say that so far your call is the high point of my day. So how's Blackmoor Manor?
A little on the spooky side.
How's Mrs. Petrov's daughter? Which means, that bad, huh?
It's just very strange. She stays in bed hiding behind this curtain all day.
Do you have any idea what the deal is?
Nope.
Well, just keep talking to her. As soon as she knows she can trust you, I'm sure she'll open up. Do you have any idea what the deal is?
She thinks she's been cursed.
Cursed? What do you mean?
She saw this ancient curse in a secret passageway, and now she thinks it's coming true.
Yikes, that's kind of nuts. So what'd the curse say?
She refused to tell me.
Sounds to me like you'd better give finding that out your top priority.
You sure I'm not disturbing you? I mean, shouldn't you be studying or something?
Shouldn't you be solving a mystery or something?
I'm on a break.
What a coincidence. So am I. What's up?
Linda's stepdaughter, Jane, she has this really weird picture book in her room.
What do you mean, a picture book?
I mean, pictures are all that's in this book. No words, just these strange hand-drawn images. And the book is old, like it's been around for centuries.
Drawings, huh? Maybe it's some kind of an ancient instruction manual. You know, for people who didn't know how to read.
Could be. When I asked her about it, Jane said her grandfather gave it to her. And then...
And then what?
And then she changed the subject.
Sounds like that book may prove to be pretty important. How were they?
Ugh, but I'm glad he made me type them.
Why?
Because when I got done, which was around 3 in the morning, I saw Jane and her tutor Ethel performing this ritual in the Great Hall.
What kind of ritual?
All I know is it involved pouring oil or something down this hole. Mrs. Drake thought I was nuts when I told her about it, and when I talked to Jane, she accused me of being daft and clammed up.
Yikes. What the heck have you gotten yourself into this time?
All I know is it involved pouring oil or something down this hole. Mrs. Drake thought I was nuts when I told her.
What did Jane have to say?
I haven't talked to her about it yet.
Man, Nancy, what the heck have you gotten yourself into this time? Really? That's odd. You'd think there would be just one coat of arms for the whole family.
Believe me, the Penvillin family is nothing if not odd. Each coat of arms includes very distinct images and symbols.
Wonder why they're so different. Really? That's odd. You'd think there would be just one coat of arms for the whole family.
Believe me, the Penvillin family is nothing if not odd. Each coat of arms includes very distinct images and symbols. It's a long story, but I'm beginning to think that each Penvillin left behind a puzzle, and that his or her coat of arms contains clues to solving that puzzle.
Makes sense. I mean, in an oddball Penvillinian sort of way. Wonder why they're so different.
I don't know that yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's very important that I find out.
Nothing like a good sneaking suspicion to keep you on your toes, I always say. Excuse me?
See, I found this book that had information on lycanthropy in it.
Lycanthropy? Werewolves?
Basically, yes. Anyway, I called this expert, and from what she said, I really think Linda thinks she's been cursed to become the legendary beast of Blackmoor.
So it's all in her head.
Right. Linda's symptoms are probably all psychosomatic.
Probably?
I mean, her symptoms are all psychosomatic. Hopefully.
So what does this beast of Blackmoor do? That makes two of us. Kind of like my cousin Higby.
The guy who wrestles hogs for a living?
That's the one. Do you think they rendezvoused there or something?
Nah, it's probably just a coincidence.
Coincidence? Right. Do you think they rendezvoused there or something?
Jane's father, Hugh, made it sound like it was just a big coincidence.
Coincidence? Right. Why do you say that? What do you think that means?
I'm not sure. But I also overheard Ethel telling Jane that in the Pemberlin family, some sort of proper qualities are thought to skip generations.
So that only every other Penvillin inherits them. Things just keep getting interestinger and interestinger, don't they? Things just keep getting interestinger and interestinger, don't they? Oh, come on. The Beast of Blackmoor?
In the 17th century, Eleanor Penvillin was rumored to have turned her husband into some kind of creature for discovering something that he shouldn't have. She was later executed for witchcraft. Anyway, while I was looking into her room through this peephole,
You were spying on her through a peephole?
No, well, sort of. Okay, so maybe I was. But the point is, I got a glimpse of her hand, and it was all hairy.
You're kidding me.
Frankly, it was pretty shocking. And if the rest of her is anything like her hand, well, it's no wonder she won't let anyone see her.
I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation. I have no idea what it could be, but I'm sure there is one.
Hello?
Hi, it's Ned. I've been dying to know how things are going there. What's the latest?
Hey, Ned, what's up?
I could say I've been studying and needed a break, but the truth is I've been dying to hear from you. What's going on there?
What isn't going on here?
I'm listening. Really? Where?
Under the manor, and I mean way under the manor. In fact, I may be the only one in this place who knows about it.
Why do you say that?
Because every time I turn around, there's another door that I have to figure out how to open. And behind the last door I found, I discovered this old forge.
What's in it?
Well, I was hoping to find the fabled Penvillin treasure, but all there is in there is an old forge.
What would someone be using a forge to make in this day and age?
Good question.
Well, if there's an answer, I'm sure you'll find it. What would someone be using a forge to make in this day and age?
There was also this big keyhole in the lab.
What about a key?
No key.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's what has to be forged.
The key that goes in that keyhole?
That'd be my guess. Why do you say that?
Because every time I turn around, there's another door that I have to figure out how to open. This one door went to a slide that took me back down to the first floor.
No kidding. Forge? Isn't the thing you use to heat metal and make swords and stuff?
Right.
So what are you going to do now? Probably hasn't been used for centuries.
That's the thing. It looks like it has been used recently. I mean, relatively recently. Certainly within the past 50 years or so. Just calling to say hi. I'll talk to you soon.
You'd better. Bye, Nance. I'll be waiting. Just be careful over there. I'm already looking forward to it.
I haven't done that yet. Can't check that off till it's done. Can't check that off yet. That's done. I'm finished with that. Check. It won't do any good. Arrowheads won't help. Too bad the decorations have fallen off. I need something to put the fire out. Interesting. I don't want to die from thirst. I don't think I need that right now. I don't want to cut my hands. Better safe than sorry. I need something that will attract metal. I need some wood to set the logs on fire. I need some paper for the campfire. I need something to hold it together. I need a key. Tex would have a cow if I rode bareback. I need the key to open it. Something goes here. I need some tools. Whatever. I need something that will keep the fire going. I don't need that right now. It would be rude to use it now. This is not the right time. I can't get in there right now. Someone might hear me. I need a rope. Not that. I don't want to throw that. Welcome to my latest case, The Curse of Blackmoor Manor. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Gameplay Overview. Okay, as always, your mission is to solve the mystery. You're going to step into my shoes and be my eyes and ears. It will be up to you to decide my every move. Click on Next to continue. When you're in the center of a room, you can turn around in a circle to see the whole room. Move your cursor to the left or right edge of the screen and you'll automatically move in that direction. You can turn off this auto move feature in the Game Options menu. A forward arrow allows you to advance in the direction you want to go. Likewise, a back arrow allows you to take a step back. Sometimes up and down arrows are available too. Give it a try. Find the forward arrow and check out my suitcase. I always carry my magnifying glass with me to scan for clues. When it turns red, I know I'm onto something. Move your mouse until the magnifying glass turns red. Then click to zoom in. When you want to go back to where you came from or turn around, find where your cursor turns into an arrow at the bottom of the screen and click. Try it. When the magnifying glass turns into a question mark, you can talk to someone. When it becomes a hand, you can use it to open and close things, pick up objects, and move things around. Now, turn to the right. Step over to the table beside the bed and take a look at the alarm clock there. In this game, you can control what time it is simply by setting this clock. Just click on the alarm button, adjust the time with the up and down arrows, click on Set, and there you go. Now roll your cursor over the key that's on the table. See how the magnifying glass turned into a hand? That means you can pick the key up. Click on it and see what happens. Good work! You're a natural! You just picked up the key and added it to your toolbox. To see what's in your toolbox, just click on the tool icon at the bottom of the screen, which will light up whenever you've added something new. If the All tab is active, you'll see all the objects you've collected during the game. Now click on the tab with the eye on it. When the eye tab is active, you'll see only those objects that you might want to look at over and over again, like letters or messages. Now click on the hand tab. When the hand tab is active, you'll see the objects that you can use to manipulate other objects. Find the key in your toolbox and click on it. See how the cursor turned into the item you clicked on? Use the key to click on the lock on my suitcase, and you'll see how good I've gotten at packing. To return an object to your toolbox, just click on the tool icon, then click on the Open Toolbox, and the object will go back into storage. You can close the toolbox by clicking on the square in the upper right-hand corner. And if you need to call someone, all you have to do is click on the cell phone at the bottom of the screen. Try it! You can use this phone to dial a number yourself, or you can automatically dial any of the numbers stored in the directory. You can also receive emails and browse the web. For more information, just click on the phone's Help button. Close the phone by clicking on the square in the upper right-hand corner. Another thing, the phone icon in the taskbar will light up whenever you have a new email to read, a new number you can dial, or a new website to look at. The notepad at the bottom of the screen is where I keep reminders to myself. Click on it and you'll see what I mean. If the Book tab is active, you'll see my journal, which is where I keep all my observations concerning information I've gathered and the people I've met. If you click on the clipboard with a check mark, you'll see a list of what I need to do. Organized person that I am, once I've done something, I check it off. Is that everything? Oh, I almost forgot one of the most important detective skills. You know, questioning suspects. In the game, you can talk to the people you meet. The conversation will appear below the scene. The words of the person you're talking to will be in blue, and my replies will be in white. Select a question or a reply by clicking on it, and listen to what your suspect says next. Give it a try. Excuse me, miss, but I couldn't help but notice that you're doing an awful lot of snooping around. Excuse me, sir, but I don't snoop. I sleuth. Who, me? Oh, no, I wasn't snooping. I was just looking for a dictionary. I keep forgetting how to spell perpetrator. And I couldn't help but notice that you're dressed like a chicken. What's up with that? If there are a lot of words in the text box, you know how some people can talk. Use the scroll box on the left to move the text up and down so that you can read along. Hang in there, we're almost done. If you make a major mistake, say you fall off a roof or blow something up, you can select Second Chance from the main menu to get back to where you were before you goofed. If you ever feel like talking to someone you know you can trust, you can always call my good friends Bess and George. In this game, you can call Frank and Joe Hardy, aka the Hardy Boys, too. And if you get stuck and don't know what to do next, you can ask them for hints. That's it. I'll return you to the menu screen where you can start the game. Junior detective is not quite as tough as the senior level, so you might want to start there. And to make sure the world you're about to enter looks as good as it can, adjust the brightness by choosing game options, then sliding gamma adjust to the left or right. You never know what you'll turn up in the game, so be sure to explore. Don't forget to trust your instincts and have fun. Good luck. Whee! Oh, threw it too soon. Darn, threw it too late. Yes! Do-over. All right. You bet. No, thank you. Okay. No, I'll be eating alone, thank you. Hi, this is Nancy Drew. I'm supposed to call you if I want some food? Okay. What do you have? Could you repeat that? I'll have some loop-de-loop. Bangers and mash. I'd like some pinky and perky, please. Can I have the dog's eye? I think I'll pass for now. Do you have any cake? Hi, this is Nancy Drew. Hi, this is Nancy Drew. I'd like to order some food. Yes, we'll go bowling sometime. Thank you. I did. That's how I got your number. It's just that your writing makes you sound so knowledgeable that I felt compelled to talk to you. What do you consider to be the definitive signs that someone is turning into some kind of animal? Yes, maybe. I can't say. But the really disturbing thing is, I can't be sure, but I do know that I saw something outside the night I arrived. Some kind of animal. And when I asked to see my friend, I was told she was unavailable. What would motivate someone to turn into an animal? You lost me. Someone suggests they become a lycanthrope? Do you think seeing an ancient curse would be enough to send someone, over the lycanthropic edge? Are temper tantrums symptomatic of lycanthropy? What if someone seems to be growing a lot of hair, like on her hands? Are you saying that my friend really is turning into some kind of beast? But it's still probably just a matter of mind over matter. Or should I say body, right? Thanks for your time. Dear Ned, greetings from jolly old England. Although right now I'm not so sure about the jolly part. That's because I'm on my way to Blackmoor Manor, where the daughter of one of our neighbors is living. The daughter, whose name is Linda, recently married Hugh Penvellin, a British diplomat. Hugh travels a lot, so the only people at the manor with Linda are Hugh's aunt, Mrs. Drake, and Hugh's 12-year-old daughter, Jane. The thing is, ever since Linda moved into the manor, her health has gone downhill. She's practically bedridden, and no one seems to know why. Her mother is convinced something is terribly wrong and wants me to find out what. So here I am, about to be dropped off at a huge centuries-old mansion in the middle of a dark, foggy moor. I can't tell whether the butterflies in my stomach are because I'm excited or just a tad creeped out. Talk to you soon. I hope. Nancy.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Oh, boy.
Hi, I'm Lonnie Manella, the voice of Nancy Drew. Join us in 2005 when we celebrate Nancy Drew's 75th anniversary, marking nearly a century of mystery, adventure, and intrigue with your favorite teenage sleuth. To pay tribute, our next game will venture back to Nancy's very beginning. And by that, I mean the very, very beginning.
The year is 1930, and everything is on the rise. Unemployment, government breadlines, and organized crime. In the midst of it all, a heroine is born. Armed with only a flashlight, a blue roadster, and a spirited resourcefulness, a 16-year-old detective will go on to inspire hope in the hearts of young girls and kisses upon the lips of evildoers everywhere. Her name, Nancy Drew.
I don't feel so good. Uh-oh. I don't feel so good. Oh, boy.
Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I've come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Diddly-dee-dee. Hello. Sorry, chum. The Boar's Head pub is closed. Ring us back after 8 come day's dawning. Boar's Head pub, this is Tommy. Boar's Head pub, this is... Oi! Get him out of here before he Wallaces up the whole rubber-dub. Boar's Head, this is Tommy. Right. Nancy Drew, out at the old Blackmoor Manor, are you? Coo, you must be Hank Marvin up there. Pity about your kitchen, but we'll fix you up for some Becks posh. Just tell me what you'd like. We've got some loop-de-loop, bangers and mash, a real fine pinky and perky, and a delicious dog's eye, me fork and knife, just rubber-ducked. Hello? Sure, we've got some loop-de-loop, bangers and mash, pinky and perky, and a dog's eye, and they're all Robin Hood. No cake.
In that case...
Okay, 1 loop-de-loop. Rightio, good choice. That'll make me Gooseberry right proud. Uncle Fred and Johnny Rudder? Oh, and we've got no hot potato about, so it may take a bit, but we'll have it up to you in no time. Fish and taters. Baked potato! Oh, alrighty. Well, you know we're the May West round here, especially for a gym. And don't worry if you haven't got an Oscar, 'cause the cheese will pay for everything. But feel free to ring us, even for a bowler. Righty-o, miss. All right, then. We'll come round and leave it at your Rory.
Thank you for holding, and thank you for calling the office of Charlena Purcell. Miss Purcell's latest novel, Like Wind Through My Heart, was an instant bestseller, and like so many of her novels...
Never mind.
Thank you for holding, and thank you for calling the office of Charlena Purcell. Miss Purcell's latest novel, Like Wind Through My Heart, was an instant bestseller, and like so many of her novels, it recently received the Catherine Coop Award for Historical Excellence. Reading a Charlena Purcell novel is like traveling through time to the Old Southwest on the wings of love.
Nancy!
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. This is a recording.
Here's everything you'll need.
Nope.